There we go. I was just saying, now that my mic works, thank you, Woke. What's up, Woke? I gotta start. Okay, so I have to start calling you Reverend. Okay, and then I gotta start calling Woke Mike, because calling all of you woke is a bunch of damn wokies. Okay, I was just saying, we've been playing this game, Illness or Education, and I think we've determined at this point that it's obviously illness. So now we're playing the game. Is it funny or is it scary? That's where we're at now, because it's like, I just saw a thing about CERN 2 days ago. CERN saw the decaying of a molecule of a quark, or I don't, dude. It's too. I don't understand any of this stuff. All I understand is that it was a 1 in a billion or 1 in 100 billion chance to see this, and they saw it like 13 times. Or it was 1 in a billion, and they saw it 13 times out of 100 billion times, which is like more often than they thought they'd see it. I am mildly concerned that this is no longer reality. That CERN has now smashed the molecules together so much, the atoms together so much. The Higgs boson has been found. None of this is real. What up, Reverend? What up, Soul? Soul, have fun at the restaurant. What up, Mike? What up, Tia? So all my friends. What up, Jeannie? Shut up, Bob. Dude, I would totally go meet Kamala and Tim. Tim is probably, dude, I guarantee you, Tim is going to be he'd be a dope dude to hang out with and watch football with. I mean, especially during that Vikings game against the Niners. That probably would have been a great game to sit there with Tim Walls. Bob, you guys, you can't count over 6, because that's all the fingers you have. Bob got no toes and 6 fingers. That's as high as he's gonna be able to count. What up, Junior? I was just talking about your Niners. It's not Sunday, so we'll keep that till tomorrow. What up, Dark Cash? All right, so we got like crazy going on today. We got like the craziest of the crazy going on today. We've got Tucker Carlson and Roseanne. We've got that queued up. This is like one of, like I said, I don't know. Is it funny or is it scary, right? Like, this is the question you have to ask yourself. Because I would like to think Roseanne Barr is harmless. Like, I could take Roseanne in a fight. I'm pretty sure. She's crazy. She's got that crazy energy. But I'm pretty sure, like, I could defend myself against Roseanne Barr. And I know I could take Tucker Carlson. I'm not scared of Tucker. I mean, the only thing I'd be worried about with Tucker is whether or not, like, he was capable of, like, getting on my internet and using my logins to go look at stuff he's not supposed to. That's the only thing I'd be concerned with Tucker. Tucker looks like he's got some skeletons in his closet, okay? But Roseanne's got that crazy energy. So I'd like to think that she's harmless, but something, it just tells me that, like, if she ever got put in, like, a cabinet position, like, what do we do if Roseanne Barr gets, like, put in a cabinet position? I just saw today, Elon Musk shared a tweet that said, Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. I was like, great. Our government's going to be ran by a shitcoin department. This is like, it feels like this isn't real life anymore. and maybe I'm wrong. I think maybe one of these nights we need to, like, just sit down and watch, like, political video from, like, 20 years ago. to see if it really is that much different, right? Because it feels like this is like ultra weird. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 20 years ago, it was just like this. Maybe just like I'm not remembering because I wasn't as involved in all this stuff as I am now. But it definitely feels like it's gotten really, really, really weird. Roseanne is the lady from Misery. Kathy Bates. Yeah, Dark Cash. Good call. What's happening, James? Revving with the revolution. I hope so. What's happening, Catherine? You think it's, Catherine says it's scary. She's legit crazy and needs to be treated. She could do harm physically. Don't let her age and size fool you. Good call. Catherine's keeping me grounded, making sure like I don't go into a fight with Roseanne too cocky. You don't want to be too cocky, get caught, you know? Like, wouldn't that suck? Wouldn't that suck to get, like, knocked out by Roseanne Barr on fucking camera? You gotta live with that shit for the rest of your life? I think not. I'm opting out. If Roseanne Barr catches with me with a right hook to the chin, and I go out hard, I'm talking like face plant hard into the cement, you will never see me ever again. Ever. Oh, man. Hope we wake up from this dream. It's kind of a nightmare. Can Gary Busey be Secretary of Defense? I think that's a possibility, Levon. I mean, if you can imagine it right now, I think it can be true. You know when you're a kid and your parents are like, you can do whatever you want, like just dream big, like your opportunities are endless. Anything you can imagine, you can make happen. I feel like that generation took that a little too literally. They're like, what if we just started putting crazy people in the White House? And their mom was like, if you dream big enough, you can make it happen. I think she grabs her nuts and spits on the ground afterwards. Exactly. That was an easier poll. Awesome. I'm here for you guys. I'm here for the people. Okay. All right. So we got to it's gonna be a little bit of a crazy show. Cause first of all, this ad right here, I didn't know about the Juice Media, but they got 1 million subscribers. So please don't fucking copyright me. 1 million subscriber Juice Media, but this ad is hilarious if you guys have never seen it. We got the liberal redneck as how many scandals can the GOP fit into 1 week? The reason I clicked on this video is because I was just thinking about this. It is such a strange news cycle to be able to keep something in the news every single day. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Mark Robinson just went to the hospital with an injury. Is that the new MAGA playbook? Like somebody comes out and talks about your lurid history on nude Africa, talking about transgender pornography, and how you want to be a black Klansman, and you're like, oh, I got hurt. Oh, I gotta go to the hospital. Oh, somebody shot at me. Okay, this time nobody shot at me, but someone did stick a gun through a fence and looked at me crazy. You know, like Trump supporters are saying he's been shot at twice now. That shit drives me nuts. It drives me nuts that they're saying he's been shot at twice now. Let's be honest. He was shot at once. And the other time, the guy, he just peeked through a fence. Didn't you got to actually be shot at if you're going to use the terminology that you've been shot at twice, okay? Like, I've had guns pulled on me, so I say I've had guns pulled on me. I've never been shot at that I know of. It seems like every time something happens nowadays with Republicans where like something comes out, they're like, oh, I hurt my ankle. I got something in my eye. I gotta go to the hospital. Oh, Jesus. Like anything to distract from the fact that you're on a transgender porn video talking about being a black Klansman that wants to own slaves. Anything to stop that shit from happening, right? Like, dude, like, probably ran his face into a hot engine at that truck show. He's like, look at me, I'm disfigured. You guys gotta feel sorry for me now. Fuck that shit. Oh, man. Fake a heart attack. Like Fred Sanford. That's a good call. Oh, man. Cajun. Laura's going to have the Antichrist baby and it will be near and MAGA will be happy. It's like the end will be near. Like, it seems like, isn't that like a, let's say, like, that's like a late 80s, early 90s, like, exorcism movie, right? Like, Trump gets Laura Loomer pregnant. Laura Loomer has, like, the fucking child of a 70 or 8-year-old fucking narcissist. And she's just like, he's the chosen one. Can you guys imagine? Like, so I read a lot of fantasy literature, and if you read a lot of fantasy literature, you know the story of the bastard is almost, it's like prevalent throughout, right? Like the king has a child with some like random woman, and then like the bastard child, you know, raises an army 20 years later to take over the throne. What do you guys think? Like 20 years from now, is it Barron versus like Laura Loomer's bastard child? Trump's love child. She's like, he was mine. Poor Melania. Actually, I feel bad for Melania a little bit. What up, AJ? Dude, I think it could happen. Remake a Rosemary Baby? Yeah. Oh, dude. How scary would that be? It's like an army of like MAGA cult members that are disenfranchised from what becomes like the main group of MAGA supporters. The main group of MAGA supporters are supporting Barron. And then there's like an even crazier version of MAGA that's like, no, Laura Loomer's child is the one true child. And he's like fucking, I don't know, he's got some kind of weird like artifact from Don, like a fucking old Big Mac. Or like a diaper. He's like got the golden diaper. Some fucking, the golden shoes or something. Do you guys see that Donald Trump now? What is Donald Trump selling now? Watches. He's selling $100,000 watches now. This shit is insane, guys. It's insane. Kid's gonna come out half plastic. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Do me a favor. I'm up here making a fool of myself. All right, so we got. I was just saying. Okay, so anyways, I was saying. I clicked on this liberal redneck video because it's exactly what I've been thinking. It's like, I swear to God, it's like they're just making shit up now. I mean, obviously they're making shit up. The Haitians thing. I mean, fucking JD Vance is just like, yeah, we did make that shit up. It's, who cares, you know? And that's why we're also, you know, saying that JD Vance may have gotten an STD from a couch cushion, you know? That's, hey, turnabout's fair play, brother. What else we got? We got Titus talking about yet another thing. These people are in my head. They know what's going on. They know my thoughts. They're making the videos that are, like, specifically for me. Literally, YouTube's algorithm knows me like the back of my hand. It's like you want to watch this. You want to watch this. How is anyone still undecided? I've been telling you guys this. I think that I'm actually more annoyed with the both sides I can't make a decision crowd than I actually am with Trump supporters. Because with Trump supporters, I can like look at Trump supporters and be like, there's some like real mental illness going on there. And I'm like, I get why they choose to vote for Trump because they're not right in the head. And so like I can deal with that. I can go like, oh, okay, like of course these people want to vote for Trump. They're insane. The undecided, both sides are bad group of people right now are driving me the most crazy. Cuz it's like if you have enough brain to be like, I should think about my choice before I make it. There are two people that I could vote for right now, and I want to know which one's the best, right? Like, if you have that much of an ability to think, like, immediately I'm like, oh, good job. All right, we're starting off well, right? And then after how many months now have we been doing this? With Kamala, it's been a couple, right? So you've had plenty of time to figure the fuck out who you want to vote for. And if you literally don't know who to vote for and you want to vote, and you have not spent any time trying to figure that out. They're like the most fucking frustrating people in the world right now. Who comes into my chat and says, I just don't know who to pick? I'm like, bro, I seriously hate you. Like, you see all the crazy shit going on in this world, in the MAGA world. And you're like, yeah, but you know, Kamala was a prosecutor. I'm like, he supports a dude that says he wants to be a black Nazi. He supports a dude that says that Martin Luther King should be called Martin Luther Coon. And he's a black dude. He's literally been a convicted felon 34 times now. He's put off his own sentencing like 3 times, which is absolutely fucking nuts. He's been held liable for sexually abusing a woman. Look, if it was just like one of these things, if you told me that you only knew about one of these things, I might be like, yeah, I understand that. Like, politics is a dirty game. I can see what you're saying. The man's been indicted 4 times! And it's not like he gets up on stage and gives these, like, amazing speeches. Like, he doesn't get up there and, like, JFK it. He doesn't get up there and, like, talk about shit like, a lot of the things that are going on in our society just aren't acceptable. What we need to do as a people is we need to come together, unite about these, like, really important things that are going on in our country. We have to talk about this. We need to talk to each other. We need to embrace each other. We need to be patriots and love one another. No, he gets up there and goes, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets. And people are like, wow, this is a hard decision to make. Oh, Trinidad, I'm talking about you. Y'all are frustrating the shit out of me. You can say that the candidates are ass. I don't agree with you that Kamala is ass. I like Kamala. I think Kamala is a great candidate. But there is no decision to make here. There is no way. There is no way that even if you don't like Kamala, there's no way you can put her on the level of insanity that Donald Trump has. Like, Donald Trump literally wants to put Laura Loomer in as his secretary, his press secretary. To show me, Trinidad, show me one crazy thing that Kamala Harris has done that's on par with any of the stuff that I just said. Any of it, Trinidad. And I'm not saying I hate you guys, but I do hate you guys a little bit. Because it's like, it's not in the, like, emotional, like, I hate you and I want bad things for you. It's that you guys drive me nuts. There's no way, like, and I think this comes from my background as a manager, right? When I look at people, I go, that person is going to be the best person for this job. That person, and, I want to know, like, their personality. I want to know, like, their sanity. Their sanity is pretty goddamn important. I want to know, like, whether or not they're going to be a stable person, an unstable person. Are they going to create, like, issues, drama within the workplace? Or are they going to be that good person that's going to be a team player? So when I look at presidential candidates, and I look at Kamala Harris, and I look at Donald Trump, if those two people were applying for a job at my store, 1,000 times out of 1,000, I'd hire Kamala Harris. There is absolutely no reality that I've ever lived in that I would be like, well, I don't know, Trump is a pretty good candidate for this job. Think about that. I wouldn't hire Donald Trump to bag groceries over Kamala Harris. I don't get how you guys can do this. Trinidad says, I consider what you said 2 days ago. If I'm asked this exact question, and I've decided that truly I don't need to choose who's worse. Both can be unfit for us. Biden wasn't even fit. Biden was the best president we've had in the last 40 years, easy. He could possibly be better than Clinton. I don't think I should be choosing between the lesser of two evils for the highest office. It makes no fucking sense, and this country is hell-bent on keeping this two-party system. So yeah, I just disagree with almost everything you say, because it feels like, Trinidad, you're basing this off emotion, because you can't speak to a single policy of Biden's. Like, tell me what's wrong with the Infrastructure Act. Tell me what's wrong with the Inflation Reduction Act. Tell me what's wrong with the Chips and Science Act. Tell me what's wrong with Biden's bipartisan gun legislation. Tell me what's wrong with the PACT Act. Like, tell me what's wrong with any one of those things. Because I can sit up here and tell you what's wrong with all of Donald Trump's policies without making appeals to emotion. This is what drives me nuts about you guys that are the undecided. Is you don't actually know anything about policy. You're like literally just like both sides are bad, but the reason that you say both sides are bad is because you're like, look at the past. But you don't need to look at the past. You can't compare Kamala Harris to Ford. You can't compare Kamala Harris to Truman. You can't compare America's government today in 2024 to what was going on in Iran in the 70s and 80s. Like you can't, like none of that stuff. See, that's your argument, Trinidad. Is as a New Yorker voting for a cop or prosecutor, well, it's going currently on Mayor Adams. Yeah, see, like that's an appeal to emotion. You don't have any. That's not logical. Like, there's no logic in your argument. Okay, I'm not gonna sit up here. Obviously, like I said, I'm not here to convince you to vote for Kamala. I'm here to convince you that the idea that independents think that they're critical thinkers is incorrect. They're not. Why would you vote third party? There's not a candidate in the third party that has any comparable experience to even Donald Trump, to be fucking honest with you. I would like to see a third party get 5%, but that doesn't, like, there is a third party. Libertarians get 2 to 3% every year. Like, they're a legitimate political party, and it's never changed anything. The only way that you change our current political system is with something like ranked choice voting. That's the only way you can do it. You can't just create a third party. I mean, really, literally, even a third party wouldn't even do anything. You'd really want 4 parties, because you want 2 parties on each side. Because if you had just a third party, you're going to just take from one side, and then that side's never going to win. So if you create like a second, like if the progressives became a party, if there was Democrats and progressives and then Republicans, right? You would just literally, Democrats would just lose every single election, because you would have progressives that want to vote for progressive candidates, you'd have Democrats that want to vote for Democratic candidates, and then you'd have Republicans that would band together and make up more than like 37 or 40% of the country, and so they would end up actually like just winning every single election. So you can't even just have third party. You would need to have 4 parties. So really what you need to have is like a libertarian party, a Republican party, a progressive party, and a liberal party. And they would have to have like viable candidates, and you'd also have to in some way change our political system, which has all this money that is consistently being put in the pockets of straight up Democrats and Republicans. So then you'd have to figure out a way that like libertarians get more money. You'd have to figure out a way that Democrats get more money. My opinion, all of that stuff is that like as far as funding for the government and how people get ads and how people get debate time and how people get selected for primaries and stuff like that should actually all be funded by Americans, not by corporations. Like, I actually think that there should probably be multiple parties, and our taxes should pay for ad time. Our taxes should pay for debates. Our taxes should decide, how the primary system works and stuff like that. And right now, where we sit right now is that corporations are people, and so corporations are allowed to dump hundreds of millions of dollars per year, both into Democrats' pockets and Republican pockets. So I think the third party thing just doesn't work. It's just not. You always dreamt of America being a direct democracy, but that's never going to happen. Yeah, and direct democracy, we had this discussion the other day. Like, it has its faults too. Like, every system has its faults, right? But, like I said, you guys still drive me crazy with the Kamala's as bad as Trump did. Like, that's like, you'll never get me to accept that by making appeals to emotion. But if you can show me on policy that Trump equals anything that Biden has done, if you can show me that any president over the last 30 years has pushed better policy than Biden has, I'll agree with you. But you can't. None of the people that come into my chat ever are capable of talking about policy in a way that's coherent and isn't just appeals to emotion. It's always just like Biden crime family, the Biden 94 bill when he wasn't even president. It's all just appeals to emotion. It's not like, oh, okay, can you show me where statistically, like, America is a worse place now because of those decisions? Because that's what I operate right off. That's, but see, Trinidad, that's all appeals to emotion. All right, I'm not gonna argue, guys, with you guys anymore about this. I'm supposed to do other stuff while I'm up here. Yeah, I gotta stop. Trinidad, you make me want to argue about this. All right, anyways, so we got straight facts, no chaser, talking about the immigrant lies and why are MAGA Republicans buying into it, which is really important because this is like, so one of the things I think that my show has to be is that I can't convince people of things, right? So I have to point out fallacy, and that's like the Socratic method is to ask questions and pointing out fallacies, and I've done a really bad job of that. I'm not very good at continuing to push the Socratic method because I like to give my opinions rather than ask questions, and so a lot of what I think I need to do while I'm up here is to show people talking about things and then ask questions about the things that they're saying and give my like point of view on those things and kind of do the George Carlin method of sitting up here and showing that, hey, I can show you guys that like what you believe is critical thinking is not critical thinking. It's just appeals to emotion. What you believe being independent is just like actually just being very emotional about something instead of like taking yourself out of the subject and recognizing like what's good for like the totality, what's good for the nation as a whole, because we'll benefit from the nation. I've really got to kind of get back to my basic foundation, and my basic foundation is kind of formed around Jonathan Haidt's social psychology, Steven Pinker's socioeconomic ideals, George Carlin, Jon Stewart, and Bill Burr's amazing ability to have a great sense of humor and also at the same time point out some like extremely logical points of view and expose fallacy, right? Like that's like the bare foundation of where a lot of like my opinions on things come from. And then, you know, there's a lot of other things that are sprinkled in there that I like pick up as I go, philosophical points of view and such like that. So, but I think this is like really important to ask yourself, why are MAGA Republicans buying into the immigrant lies? Because like we can all point out that it's crazy. We can all point out that it's racist. We can all point out that like it seems like an insane way to like go about living your life. But the real question when you do all that is like, are you addressing what they believe, why they believe it? Because once again, we're dealing with symptoms rather than a disease, and we need to get to a point where we understand what the actual disease is. And I personally believe that MAGA is a mental illness. I personally believe that the things that they want to trust Trump on, the things they want to believe that are being told to them, are all part of like a post-traumatic stress disorder, where it's like they need their comfort blanket. And I think a lot of these lies that they get told by Trump, by Loomer, by Roseanne Barr, by Tucker Carlson, by Tim Pool, by whoever, it's their safety blanket. It makes them feel better to know that they're not responsible for their way of life, which is really weird because conservatives have always been the pull yourself up by your bootstraps, like you got to be accountable, you got to be responsible. And that's really changed since Trump has came into office. It's really changed instead into this like kind of obscene victimhood, that everything that is going on in this world is not their fault, it's somebody else's fault, somebody taking from them. And then you go back to like a conservative basis, a conservative foundation, where like fear of the other is very prevalent. And when you realize that those two things come together, where you need this safety net, this safety blanket of lies, and then you have fear of the other, where, well, that obviously the most logical thing to believe there is that the fear of the other is their safety blanket, and therefore telling them that these immigrants are causing this influx of crime that is not happening. within their country and stealing their jobs and taking their kids' places in schools and food out of their mouth and all these things, helps them to make excuses for why they're not doing well in their life or for why their life lacks purpose. It's not because we're lazy, it's because immigrants are taking our jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I think a lot of this stuff comes from. So anyways, we're going to get into the Roseanne videos because the Roseanne videos are absolutely bananas. Bananas. The fact that there are people, this is why I'm saying, when I'm trying to employ somebody, like I want to look them in the eye and I want to look at that person deep down in their soul and go, is this person going to try and fight somebody in my store? And let me tell you this. If I sat down with Roseanne and Roseanne was like, I'd like to work the register, I look deep into Roseanne's eyes and I go, She's going to get us a lot of bad Yelp reviews. You know what I'm saying? This is what you're doing when you're choosing the president of the United States. Is you're not just choosing the president of the United States. You're choosing the people that surround them. I had this one girl, and I love her to death. She's one of the coolest fucking people, and coming from my background, a lot of times I do reach out and try and, help out people that are in bad situations and stuff, right? I believe, I can fix people, right? I'm always I'm going to give you a shot. And this girl, when I hired her, I shit you not, the weekend before she started work with me, she saw a man blow his own hand off with an M80 at a festival, 10 feet from her. Watched the dude blow his hand off. She ended up getting a brand from a motorcycle because she was wearing shorts on the back of a motorcycle when it flipped, and she was on the back of it with another person, and the motorcycle had flipped and burned Honda into her leg. Okay? So this poor girl comes to work with this rap and PTSD from watching a dude lose his hand. And I knew immediately. I was like, yep. We're bringing some baggage with us. And I tried to make it work, but she ended up having to do some things. She had to serve some time for a prior offense. And I knew at that time, yeah, probably couldn't save that one, right? Okay, kind of but that's what you're voting for. When you see these people, you're not voting just for them. You're voting for the people that they surround themselves. When I hire somebody, I'm not just hiring them. I'm hiring their familial state, their friendships, their proclivity for drama, their proclivity for stableness. When I hire somebody, I'm actually hiring more than the person. I'm hiring their potential. And I'm hiring their potential for bad as well. So when you hire Donald Trump, don't forget, you're hiring Roseanne Barr. You're hiring Laura Loomer. You're hiring Tim Pool and Tucker Carlson. And I don't want any of that. If you hire Kamala Harris, who are you hiring? You're hiring Kamala Harris. You're hiring Tim Walz. You're hiring Joe Biden. You're hiring Barack Obama. You're hiring Michelle Obama, AOC, Bernie Sanders. I keep saying this, show me the person on the left that comes even close to these people on the right. Show me one person, and God damn it, you better not say me. That is as crazy as the people on the right. They're not out there. They're not out there. All right. So we're going to take a look at the Roseanne clips. And then we got one final one here. Because this shit just cracked me up when I read this title. Dude, the clickbait is getting me nowadays. The clickbait is getting me so hardcore. Trump panic calls out rally attendees leaving his rally. Do you guys think that shit just stuck with Donald Trump now? You think he's watching the crowd now ever since that debate? He's like leaning on his podium, just fucking white knuckling that podium, so upset, and like somebody gets up to use the bathroom and he's like, "Hey, where are you going? The show's not over. Sit down." And they're like, "I just need to pee." "Sure you do. Sit down." Like, can you guys imagine? Can you guys imagine the Secret Service prowling the crowd? They're not looking for active shooters anymore. They're looking for people trying to get up and leave the rally. You go to get up to go get like a snack at the snack shack. You're like, "I'm going to go get me a pizza and a Pepsi. Man, I am hungry." You go to get up and you feel like a hand come down on your shoulder and you look up and there's fucking some Men in Black type dude standing over you with his hand on his gun and you're like, "I just was going to get a soft pretzel. Maybe some cheese." The CIA guy goes, "I'll get it for you. Stay there." Yeah, that mentioned Donald Trump is watching this shit like a hawk right now. Like a hawk. All right, so let's start with this one though. This is a good segue. This video, I've only watched about 20 seconds of it, but I can tell you that this video, it embodies what I'm saying about the insanity of Trump and the Trump campaign, and why, if you have even a question of whether or not Trump or Kamala are worse for America, that I don't know what to say anymore. I got nothing left. I'm running out of words, and for me to run out of words, that's a fucking spectacle to behold, okay? There's not a single person that's ever met me that would ever tell you that I run out of words. I have the best words, the most amazing words.
This is a message from the U.S. government. No, not the fake commie pet-eating government. The one that actually won in 2020. And now, after winning 2 elections and all of his own golf tournaments, President Trump is running for a 3rd term. So suck shit, childless cat ladies. Trump 24.
Like, tell me, there's not, like, so far there's 0. This is as far as I watched into this. There is nothing that she has said in this video that is not true so far. Nothing. They claim people are eating the pets. He claims he wins all his golf tournaments. They talked about the childless cat ladies. They call them all commies. Like, at this point, you should be like, well, I mean, she is exaggerating some stuff, right? No! Like, everything she said so far has happened. It's insane. Oh, God. I don't know who this lady is.
Childless cat ladies. Trump 24. During his 2nd term in...
Golf says, "Am I on timeout?" No, you're not on timeout, Golf. I just, I can't see everything everybody is saying all the time. You guys talk, so that's good. I'm glad you guys talk. Yeah, you're not on... Golf, I'd never put you on timeout, Golf. I mean, I can't say never. You are a Marine. There's probably at least one point in my life where I'll be like, "Golf?" I know Marines.
During his 2nd term in office, President Trump has been working tirelessly from the Orange House, blocking border security legislation, praising dictators, praising billionaires for firing workers, dissing our military, and flying around in the pedo jet. But most importantly, tackling the greatest threat of all at the coming election: voter fraud. Sure, there's no evidence of widespread voter fraud in our election, as countless officials, security agencies, courts, reports,
Dude, tell me. Like, this is a distillation of how many months do you think this is? Not even, right? Like, this is like just a distillation of like the last 30 days. Might be a month and a half, might be 2 months. We have gotten through 45 seconds and we have listed off an insane amount of stuff in the first fucking 45 seconds. Yeah, Nightbot might actually, like, stop some of your comments, just so you guys know. Nightbot does clip you guys for certain words. because I can't moderate.
Even our own security agency, courts, reports, even our own report, even our buddies, even the conservative Supreme Court stacked with Trump appointees have repeatedly stated, heck, even we don't believe our bullshit about voter fraud. But we desperately need enough of you to believe it so that you'll help us stop the steal at the coming election. Cause you see, we know we can't win elections the old-fashioned way. You know, by getting the most votes. We haven't won the popular vote in 2 decades.
Dude.
So we need your help to stop people voting against.
Real talk. They haven't won the popular vote in 2 decades. That is so crazy. Look at those numbers, too. George Bush over Al Gore, 271, 266. Fucking Florida. George Bush over Kerry. That's a much better margin. That was from the Swift voting. Kerry got Swift voted. They tried to do that shit to Tim Walz this year. Didn't work out so well for him. Look at poor John McCain. Look at these two right here. Barack Obama, look, I wasn't a big fan of the corporate interest bullshit. I think Obama did a good job. I think he had a tough job to do. I think he did a good job. I'm never a fan of drone strikes, so, you know, even when I can agree that certain ones are necessary, I still don't agree with what's happening. But damn, son, the one thing you have to give Barack Obama, like, without a doubt, 365 to 173, that's like a first-round knockout. And then to follow that shit up with a 332 to 206, like, that's like 2 first-round knockouts in one night. Like, that's like Barack Obama was like, done. Next. Bring him in. Bow. That is so crazy. Yeah, they did swift boat. They swift bias, but they also did swift boat McCain as well. Am I even an independent? That's a good question. Maybe I should take that political test. Trinidad. I think maybe I should take a... The question is, are you an independent? Well, I almost got caught. I'm supposed to take the other side of the argument. I'm the independent. You're not. Right? Isn't that what I'm supposed to do? That's what I'm going to go with. All right. Where were we? Sorry, I got distracted. I'm gonna make me and Trinidad both take the political test.
We haven't won the popular vote in 2 decades. So we need your help to stop people voting against us. That's why we recruited thousands of our fraud-filled minions to launch mass challenges of voter registration via our app, which is purging unknown numbers of legitimate voters from our voter rolls.
Dude.
Screw the vote. And
747,000 voters in North Carolina removed from the rolls. Like, I don't have a problem if that's legit. Like, this is like my whole thing is, for sure, if they showed that was legit, understandable. But that's the kind of stuff that, like I said, even when Trump was doing it and going behind the scenes and like going through the election fraud and stuff to fine-tooth comb, I have zero problem with people looking into, on either side, left or right, whether or not the things that are going on are legitimate or not. That's a lot of people to be removing from the voter rolls, man. 750,000
It's
people?
why we've all our voter rolls. Screw the vote. And it's why we've also introduced a raft of new vote suppression laws like this, and this. Also this. Lots of this. And a shit ton of these, which we say are to stop voter fraud, but actually just stop people who tend to vote against us. I mean, illegally. Yep. And here we have to thank our friends at SCOTUS for eviscerating the Voting Rights Act, which is what enabled all these vote suppression laws. SCOTUS! But that's just the tip of the shitberg. Fear of non-existent voter fraud is also at the heart of our brand new plan to grab this election by the pussy on Election Day. Introducing our precinct strategy. Overseen by the supreme shitlord of the megasphere, the precinct strategy.
Dude. And for anybody out there that's like, Donald Trump actually wouldn't like put a bunch of people. He had Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon was in his cabinet. He had his kids. Don Jr.'s coked out ass was running around. Like, for all the shit you guys give Joe Biden didn't have Hunter Biden like on the fucking in the cabinet, like going to Saudi Arabia, making deals and shit like that. Like, he had Don, he had Ivanka, he had Eric. Like, his whole goddamn family was, like, running the Orange House. I'm going to call it the Orange House from now on, too. Because, like, that's actually what it was. Because didn't he not like actually stay in the White House? Wasn't he always like in Mar-a-Lago? So yeah, I'm gonna call it the Orange House from now on, dude. Insane.
Overseen by the supreme shitlord of the megasphere, the precinct strategy entails signing up our fraud-filled army to be poll workers at the local precinct level, where votes are counted.
We're taking this back village by village, precinct by precinct.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Probably shouldn't even sound tape, but I usually vote by mail-in, but this year, just to like tempt the motherfucker, I'm like, I kind of want to just go vote in person. If I do, we record that, all right? Like, dude, I fucking dare somebody to get up in my face at a poll, dude. Oh my god. And that's why I gotta just like probably just mail in vote. My ass should probably just stay home. Oh man. Like, yeah, like people, hey, calm the fuck down with this. You're gonna go to the poll and you're gonna get in people's faces and stuff and watch them, make sure they're not doing anything illegal. Like, brother, you can get your hip broken. All right, like you gotta be careful. Like, don't think that every liberal out there has never been in a fight. Okay, only every liberal. You got Gulf Marines ass over here. All right, you think that there ain't no like ex-military liberals? You don't think that there's no liberals that are in MMA? You don't think like, dude. You best be careful. You're going to end up in a rear naked choke on the internets, okay? That's the last thing that you need in your life is to be somebody's uncle or grandpa or nephew getting choked out at a poll by somebody that you've been calling a liberal cuck for the last 4 years, talking shit about him. And now you viral on the internet as you go, Y'all ever seen a dude try to tap out in a real fight? That shit's like the funniest thing I've ever seen. People will watch so much MMA in their life nowadays that like a dude will literally be in a street fight, another dude will have him in a guillotine holding him up, and the dude will start tapping. Spoiler alert, guys, there's no referee on the streets. All right, you start tapping, that motherfucker ain't letting go. So how about just stay at home, guys. Don't be going to polls and watching what I'm doing on my vote, because that shit might get you in some trouble. Just gonna throw that warning out there.
We're taking this back village by village, precinct by precinct, and they can't stop it.
Yup, the guy who committed actual fraud against thousands of our supporters has recruited thousands of our supporters to find imaginary fraud. And on election day, they'll be out challenging voters.
You gotta contest every ballot.
And reporting the fraud to our hotline of lawyers, who'll then use the evidence to launch a barrage of lawsuits in precincts across the nation, creating the impression of widespread voter fraud. Which brings us to the final part of our plan, which we like to call total fucking chaos. Total fucking chaos is the goal, as that will allow officials to declare a perfectly normal election rigged. It didn't work last time due to uncooperative officials.
This is funny, but this is 100% true. Like, people don't understand that the fake elector, what they're going for, the fake elector scheme, wasn't to like Donald Trump just, you know, they go in there, they go, Donald Trump actually is the real president, and then Donald Trump gets to be the president. Nah, the Eastman memo has like 7 steps where it's like, what's the most potential way to cause confusion and chaos, so that way we can use certain rules or go around like the Electoral Act, do certain things like push it back to governors, because there's more Republican governors than there were Democrat governors at that time. It's about chaos. It's not a 1-for-1. This isn't some kind of clean plan where Donald Trump just we go, oh, it turns out Biden wasn't the winner, Donald Trump is, Donald Trump's now the president. No, the fake elector scheme was meant to create chaos, and they had 4 years to think about how to do it better. This is what actually makes this scary. They've had 4 years to figure out what they did wrong. They've had 4 years to put people in places in government to make it go more smoothly this time. It's insane. We should watch. There's a good movie out on the January 6th thing with Roger Stone and the guy who started Stop the Steal. The word Stop the Steal came from Roger Stone, but the actual movement comes from a guy that was a follower of Roger Stone. And we should watch that movie sometime. I'll get the link for you guys.
But this time will be the normal election rigged. It didn't work last time due to uncooperative officials, but this time will be the officials, as we've also taken over election boards.
We're taking over all the elections.
Suck on this. Our friends at Scrotus can then step in to decide the election outcome like they did in 2000, or throw the decision to a congressional vote. Either way, a douche wins a second, third term. And if that doesn't work, fuck it. It's Civil War time. The only thing that can stop all this is if enough of you are ready for the total fucking chaos and can keep calm until all the votes are legally counted. So don't share this video with everyone you know, and don't go to this website to check that we haven't purged you from the voter roll, or this website, which lists all the new laws we've passed to make it harder to vote. All the links are in the video description. Do not click them.
Dope.
Cause remember, America, our elections are deeply unfair because of this. And this. And because of this shitty voting system that enshrines a two-party duopoly, but not due to voter fraud. That's just something we made up to exploit your legitimate desire.
And this is going back to the illegal immigration thing, too. It's like, so when you can't convince people through actual, like, legitimate means that the system is unfair, instead you create this fear. So instead of just saying, like, the Electoral College is kind of bullshit, and, you know, things like Citizens United and money being involved in our politics is kind of bullshit. Dark money, the Chamber of Commerce, look into the Powell memo. All of those things are kind of bullshit. But you can show people, like, look, I can trace it back to this thing, that this is evidence. This is proof that this thing is happening. Instead, what you have to do for them on their side is create a boogeyman. You have to say, just like the Haitians, just like immigration, just like the people coming across the border. It's like, no, can I like actually show you that any of those things are actually happening? No, you just have to trust me that you should be scared. You should be fearful. Same thing goes for voter fraud. It's like, oh, okay, so you guys believe all these things happened. Okay, can we have a third party investigate them? Not even the government. Let's have Ken Block go and investigate that. Who was paid by Donald Trump to investigate that? Ken Block comes back, says, hey, actually, it looks like there wasn't a bunch of voter fraud. There are some incomplete information. There is some incomplete information in our voter system that needs to be cleaned up. For sure, we should be doing that. That's the thing that he points to, that he's like, that stuff is bad, and we need to fix that. But that's not enough. So the stuff he proved wasn't enough to cause enough fear. Like, it should be something that Trump supporters would be like, oh, he said there was a lot of dirty data, and it should be fixed. And I would agree with you. I'm like, yeah, actually, there is a bunch of stuff that's like improperly entered. The fact that the voting system defaults to the year like 1900 if a birth date is put in incorrectly or not at all. Like, those things that he pointed out, you would think Trump supporters would actually be like, well, look, that is like proof that there is a problem. But the problem is that it doesn't amount to enough evidence to legitimately hold water. It doesn't like mean that the whole election was bad, that there's rampant fraud that caused Donald Trump to lose. No, at the end of the day, that dude and Donald Trump's like current pollster, one of his current pollsters, I forget the guy's name, but it starts with an F, said the reason that Donald Trump lost, when you look at exit polls from Republicans after they voted, was that they said they had no more trust in Donald Trump. All the people in 2016 that voted for Donald Trump didn't vote for Donald Trump on the Republican side in 2020. That's why he lost. It has nothing to do with fraud, and it has everything to do with that Donald Trump is a fraud. That's what it has to do. But they need to create a boogeyman, just like they need the Haitians to be a boogeyman, because these people operate not off facts, not off evidence, not off logic, not off critical thinking, but off fear. Fear, 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 all day long. That's it.
voter fraud. That's just something we made up to exploit your legitimate desire for fair elections to help us rat fuck this one. Trump 24. Now get to work, patriots. This election isn't gonna steal itself, you pieces of shit.
I love this.
Authorized by the Department for the Prevention of Pet Eating and Transgender Operations on Illegal Aliens in Prisons.
Mar-a-Lago. Dude, that was amazing. I've never seen these people before. Oh, it's got a little bit more to go here. Oh, okay, it's just here. Dude, there's other videos. Oh, dude, we have to watch the QAnon video. We're gonna have to watch that one. That's going on the list, boys. All right, and so she said there was these links in here. Here's the vote.org link. Here, we're going to actually pin the vote.org link. We need to start doing this. This needs to happen from this point on. If I don't put this link and pin it, I want you guys to tell me, okay? I want you guys to remind me when I don't pin this link. Okay. That's the vote.org. That you can check on that. Here's the, let's see. Here's the link to all the new laws to make it harder to vote. Okay, so there's that one. And did she say there was another one? No. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I'll also link this channel. Okay. Because this is dope. That was like one of the best videos I've seen in a long time, actually. That was really funny. All right, so there you go. So there's the links. Okay, so the first one obviously is vote.org. Every single person should be checking their voter status. I don't give a shit if you voted last year. I don't care if you voted like 2 years ago in the midterms. You should be checking your voter status. Even you, Trinidad, every single person should be checking their voter status to make sure that they're still eligible to vote. Last thing you want is like November 5th to roll around and you're not registered. Now you can go down to the polls and get registered there, but like there could be some crazy shit going on November 5th. Like I said, there's supposedly going to be these people like wandering around and watching people and making sure that they're not doing anything illegal. You know, stay safe, man. I know I make jokes about stuff and talk about like how we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, whatever, but those, you know, like I don't want anybody out there to get in any kind of physical altercation with anybody. I want you guys to be safe. I want you guys to make sure you're registered to vote. I want you to make the correct decision for you and for America. And I definitely don't want you guys ever in a place where you could possibly get hurt or something like that. So keep that in mind. All right, this one's for Trinidad. I checked it's active, but let me ask you, when you saw party affiliation, are you sure it said no? No, I'm affiliated with the American Independent Party, Trinidad. That's an actual party. See, this is why sometimes with you guys, I don't know if you guys are actually independents or if you guys know that. You know that there is an American Independent Party, right? Here, I'm going to help you out. Like, and I don't, like I said it this year when I was looking up their whole ideology, I was actually like, I was like, nope. I was like, I don't think I actually agree with this. It's a far-right political party. It's really funny. The AIP was founded by Bill Scherer and his wife, Eileen Nolan Scherer. It nominated George Wallace as its presidential candidate and retired U.S. Air Force General Curtis E. Lee May, Republican, as the vice presidential candidate. So the actual independent party. So see, that's see, there's a difference because the independent party was meant to be an independent party. It was meant to not have like a real affiliation with left or right. That's why they had a Democrat as a president and a Republican as a vice president. They were meant to be a much more, centrist party. Independents were meant to be a centrist party of sorts, right? And what's happened with the independent party is that it has become a far right party. Now, I didn't realize this. I didn't realize this until I was reading about all this shit what was it, 2 years ago? 2 years ago, I was like, what the I was like, what happened to the Independent Party? And this is what happened. That's what happened. The American Independent Party has become are they far right? They say that they're against, like, the ideology of the American Independent Party, as I understand it now, and I could be wrong about this, somebody can correct me on this. It is now very similar to the Libertarian Party, except for that they believe that LGBT rights infringe on heterosexual rights. Therefore, they believe that that's, like, in some way harming cisgender people. So that's why I was like, this year I was like, oh, God damn it. God damn it. Like, yeah, you learn. You learn. You learn. So when people say they're a registered independent, that's the Independent Party. And this is why when people come in and they say, I'm an independent, I don't think that semantically you're not correct. I get what you're saying, Trinidad, but semantically you're not correct. Like, so when you're talking about a political party and you say you're independent, I expect people to not know what the American Independent Party is. And it's almost always true. Because like I said, a couple of years ago, I didn't know what it was. I thought the same thing you did, and that's why I keep saying this over and over to you guys, is like, I was just like you. I was literally just like you. I believed both parties are corrupt. I believed all the candidates are the same. I believed every election is an election of the lesser two evils. I believed that all government officials are bad and just accept money, and there's no such thing as a good one. I believed in a lot of the conspiracies. I believed that, the thing like what happened in 9/11 could be true. I believed that the JFK Jr. thing could be true. I believed that, like, vaccines could be a problem. I believed, like, that LGBT stuff was, like, kind of a fad. There's lots of stuff that I agree with people that come into my chat and say all of these things. The thing is that I no longer believe those things, because in my journey, in doing this, I felt it was, like, really important for me to know the things I was talking about, so that way I'm not up here just spewing my opinion on everything. Obviously, sometimes the things I say are my opinion, but I wanted to be better. I wanted to, like, be more educated as to, like, the things I'm talking about. So in doing that, I've recognized, like, how the two parties operate, why the two parties are different than each other, why actually at certain points in the road it's important that you have moderate conservatives and that you have moderate Republicans. When you talk about, like, our debt and our taxes and things like that, it's important to have, like, a bit of a restriction, a guardrail on some of the things that on the left wants to be able to do. But on the left also, I believe that there's tons of stuff progress-wise that are very important, and that's why I actually say, even though I claim to at times have some independent leanings, I do not in any way disguise the fact that my progressive values are my most important values. My progressive values, like having equal rights for LGBT people, making sure that there's no discrimination in the hiring processes of America, making sure that, like, everybody has, like, an equal right, and that equity is a thing, that it is important that people do get a hand up in certain places, because a hand up for poor people means that, like, the economy as a whole gets better. This is why I base a lot of my socioeconomic stuff in Steven Pinker's books, The Enlightenment and such like that. All of those things, like, they all matter to me. And I think that the only reason that I know anything about any of that stuff is because I was finally forced to go and look into these things, because I was sitting up here and saying these things to people, and I didn't want to be wrong. I didn't want to tell people the wrong thing. I wanted to make sure that I knew the things I was saying were actually, like, factually based, if not 100% correct, that they were like for the most part, I did the best I could to make sure they were, and that the people that listen to me aren't being given misinformation. So like, I understand where you come from, Trinidad. I understand where a lot of people come from when it comes to the independent thing or the both sides thing, but I just really 100% believe that you guys have not done enough research into legislation and policy, because you can clearly see the difference between the left and the right when you actually look at the policies they pass, the legislation they pass, the things that they fund. One of the biggest things I found out when I looked into the left versus the right was that the left does push a lot of very expensive legislation through. And a lot of it is wonky and clunky and clumsy because of the fact that we have a two-party system where they're constantly fighting. So like half of the legislation gets through and then the other half gets tossed out. And so the plan doesn't go over as it was originally imagined. And then I realized that on the right, the reason that you see such huge deficit increases under Republican presidents is because they go in on the ideal that they're going to cut things like Social Security and Medicare, but those entitlement programs are, for the most part, heavily conservative. Those entitlement programs are used, for the most part, by old white people, which make up a large base of the Republican Party. So they go in on these policies that they're going to cut taxes for everybody, but don't worry, they're going to balance that out by cutting regulations and letting companies like run wild and make a ton of money. And at the same time, they're going to cut these entitlement programs. But they don't cut entitlement programs. They give tax cuts mostly to the ultra wealthy, and then tax cuts to the middle class to keep them, so they shut the fuck up, because those tax cuts are not that great. And in the end, they're actually really bad for the middle class because we just have to pay it back later, because the ultra wealthy are the ones that truly benefit from those really big tax cuts. And then you see a ballooning in the deficit because they don't cut those regulations. They give away the tax cuts. They do cut regulations within the corporations, but those regulations end up harming people, like what's happening in Texas with the water from Elon Musk. What happened with the trains. There's what's happening with the banks right now, where we're back to a point where we reduce regulation on banks again, and now we're looking at banks and they're going, we might have fucked up again. Like that's what I mean, is when you really actually have to talk to other people and you have to be right, because if you're not, you're fucking up, like you're spreading misinformation. You're giving people, like if somebody out there is going somewhere and going, I heard on this show that this thing is true, and then that person goes, no, it's not, and they show that person. I don't want that to happen. I want you guys to feel really confident that when I'm telling you things, that I've looked into these things, I've researched them pretty well, like, to the point where I feel confident in saying them. And that has forced me to recognize the differences between the two parties. It has forced me to recognize why Joe Biden is a good president. That's why when I hear you guys say that Joe Biden is not a good president, I know that you have shit political knowledge. I know that you're politically illiterate, because even if Donald Trump had the policies that Biden does, I would be saying Donald Trump is a good president. And I've even told you guys, there's a couple policies that I agreed with from Donald Trump. So when people say things like, oh, no, it's just you have TDS, whatever. Like, I can literally name policies from Trump that I thought were pretty good policies that didn't have extreme negatives on society so far. I can point out to you why I think his isolationist policies are much worse than some of the policies from either Biden or Kamala Harris. Because I actually want to know why I dislike Trump other than the appeals to emotion. Look, I think Donald Trump is a terrible human being. I think that he's a shit leader. I think that he's got a very weird relationship with his daughter. I think there's plenty of things that I could sit up here and just make this show about appeals to emotion all goddamn day. And to be honest with you, I'd probably be a lot more popular. I would attract more of the left that would want me to be up here and be like, God, just look at all the shit tabloid stuff this guy does. But instead, I do try to show every single person that comes in here that claims to be an independent thinker, that if you are going to be an independent thinker, that you have to actually look into the subjects that you want to say you know something about. You have to be politically literate. So when I say that I think that Donald Trump was not a good president, I can't just make appeals to emotion about all the crazy shit he did, even though I could literally disqualify Donald Trump by making one point, and that is that he committed treason against the American government. But I don't. Instead, I go, look, there's a lot of reasons. Do you want to talk about why his policy was bad? Do you want to talk about why he was a really bad leader? Or do you want to talk about all the like dramatic, like fucking outside shit about like why he's a garbage human being? Because I can talk about any of those things. When people want to talk about Biden on the other hand, when people want to talk about why Biden is bad, not a single one of you can point out why his policies are bad. Because it's just appeals to emotion. Dark Cash, you don't know who Titus is? Don't push your values on me, sir. Sorry, Reverend. Sorry. Trinidad, are you in the Discord? I don't know if you'd like the Discord, but you should get in the Discord so you can post stuff like that. I can't see the HTTPS. Are you guys making the joke that you want to watch Titus? Is that the joke right now? All right. I'm up here. I'm on my soapbox though, Mike. I'm on my soapbox. I'm trying to heal America.
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Today I want to talk to you fence sitters.
It starts with an M and it ends.
Hold on. Trinidad, you can follow me on Twitter. I don't get on it like a ton, but you can follow me on Twitter. It's at PSMRF. Here, I'll put it on here. And you can send me your results. Because I'd like to see it. I'll send you my results too. We'll both do it, okay? Because I don't know what it'll tell me. For all I know, it'll tell me that I'm like the most left-leaning person that's ever existed. That's my Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter, and you can once I accept your request, I think you can send me the link. All right. So now we're gonna watch Titus. And this is about my undecided brethren.
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Today I want to talk to you fence sitters.
It starts with an M and it ends with not
The undecided voter who still can't figure out the difference between a scumbag, rapist, bankrupt failure, obese, authoritarian creep, and an accomplished, multiple times elected prosecutor, attorney general, senator, and vice president. A person Katie Porter said cannot be bought. And yet you can't seem to make a decision between her and a dude that...
Dude, and if you, like, that's one of the people that, like, drive me the most nuts is that people don't know about Katie. Katie is legitimately one of the best people in politics. Katie spends all of her time fighting against corporate interests. And yeah, sure, that's my wheelhouse right now. That's what I'm all about, is fighting against corporate interests, fighting against ultra wealthy, getting big money out of politics. But if you don't like Katie Porter and you are against ultra wealthy corporations influencing our elections, you are bipolar. Because Katie Porter is one of the strongest advocates for your rights in that area. So if you don't know who Katie Porter is, go check out Katie Porter. Katie Porter is dope.
General, senator, and vice president. A person Katie Porter said cannot be bought.
Okay.
And yet you can't seem to make a decision between her and a dude that can only be bought. Let me help you with your decision. Think of me.
Like Trump literally told a bunch of oil tycoons, if you elect me, I will give you the biggest tax cuts. You will make so much money. All you have to do, give me $1 billion. The most amazing part about that is, like, Donald Trump doesn't deny any of this. Like, I was just watching Wick TV talk about sane washing Trump. Like, his supporters 100% sane wash all the shit that he does, and they, like, straight up, like, will lie for him so that way he doesn't have to. Like, he doesn't have to say, I never said that, because his supporters will just come out and go, he never said that. That's not what he meant. It's not what he meant.
Be bought. And yet you can't seem to make a decision between her and a dude that can only be bought. Let me help you with your decision. Think of me like helping a person with a brain injury learn to stop crapping their pants in public. Because if you can't make a decision between Trump and Harris, you're one of the dumbest people currently in the country. You are the poorly educated Trump loves to bend over.
I love the poorly educated.
He loves us.
Dude, that picture's insane.
And he made fun of us in the same sentence. I think he did. I ain't sure. I'm poorly educated.
Let's go down the list. Harris has been in government for 20 years. In that time, she has zero scandal. In fact, in those 20 years, she got homeowners billions after the mortgage.
Yeah, the only scandal that anybody has, like, any, like, attempt at trying to make legitimate is the Willie Brown shit. And it just shows so much about America and how far we have to go, that any time that a woman wants to run for any type of office at all, we immediately start talking about their sexual history. That's insane. The Willie Brown shit, the fact that he was literally separated from his wife for 10 years, like, I shouldn't even have to defend this. We should be well past. No one has ever asked who Bill Clinton slept with to get to where he is. No one has ever asked who Barack Obama slept with to get to where he is. No one has ever asked who Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders or Ted Cruz or James Comer or Jim Jordan. And you should probably ask who Jim Jordan slept with to get to where he got to, because that person probably didn't want to sleep with Jim Jordan, allegedly. But every single time a woman runs for any office, every time a woman does anything good, there's always the question, who did she sleep with to get to where she got? As though women are just completely incapable of doing anything but arousing you. That says more about you than it does about them. It's got to stop. That shit's got to stop.
Harris has been in government for 20 years. In that time, she has zero scandal. In fact, in those 20 years, she got homeowners billions after the mortgage crisis and the bank.
Right, Trinidad. Trinidad says, I vaguely remember a famous presser. I did not sleep with that young woman. Also, I tagged you on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, the problem with that is nobody was like, how did Bill Clinton become a successful president of the United States, Trinidad? They weren't like asking him how the fuck he became the United States president. They didn't claim that sleeping with Monica Lewinsky made him the president of the United States. No, they literally were like, he fucked his assistant. That's all they cared about. That is not even close to apples. Jesus Christ, this is the problem. This is what I'm saying. You're literally here fucking trying to make it okay. You're trying to excuse... You're trying to excuse misogyny. Sometimes you just fucking step aside and let it go past. One of our problems in America is that we feel like we have to like defend every one of these things. We're like, well, actually, there is at least one guy. Like, I can literally point out 1 billion examples of fucking women being degraded. I can point out Monica Lewinsky as a woman that was degraded for her position based on who she slept with. God damn it, Trinidad, just let this one go by. Love you, buddy.
In fact, in those 20 years, she got homeowners billions after the mortgage crisis and the banks tried to screw everybody. She put criminals away. She cleared up old cold murder cases and even put parents in jail when their kids didn't go to school. As a senator, she tore up the liars and the douchebags who tried to end our democracy on January 6th.
I'm not able to be rushed this fast. It makes me nervous.
She is a badass.
I'm going to be honest. I would elect her for that look right there. That look right there, let me tell you this. There are certain moments in an interview with a person where I say, I'm going to hire that person. Like, there's just always this moment where I'm like, I like that. I like something you just did. I did once have a girl at the end of an interview. I said, I go, do you have any questions for me? That's always a question, just so you guys know. In an interview, if you're being interviewed, always have a question for the person interviewing you. It's a sign that you're thinking. It's a sign that you're an intelligent person, and you should always have a question prepared for the interview. Even if they don't ask you if you have any questions for them, you should ask the question. You should go, oh, can I ask you one question before we end this interview? There's always one moment. And I had this one girl this one time. She said, I go, do you have any questions for me? And she goes, yeah. If you could be any animal, what would you be? And my boss actually was sitting in the other room. And she came in and she was like, wow, what a weird question to ask her. And I was like, no, I loved it. I was like, I loved it. It was creative. I was like, that's very creative. I didn't end up hiring her because I had better candidates for that position. More experienced candidates, better fit. But I was like, if you want to know my answer, I said, I go, like, without a pause, I was like, tiger. And she was like, why would you want to be a tiger? I go, because tiger ain't ever got to tell anybody it's a tiger. You just know that motherfucker's a tiger. And that's me to a T. But there's certain times where I look at a person and I go, this person has what I need. That look right there that's the look we need in office right now. Because back in 2020, when I was saying that Kamala Harris was a good presidential candidate, back in 2020, when I wasn't impressed with Tulsi Gabbard's bullshit, okay? Back in 2020, I said, we need Mamala. We need somebody that's going to look across the aisle at a bunch of fools acting up, being dumbasses, and give them that look right there. That's a sit your ass down. Are you playing with me? Are you playing with me? That's what that look says, and that's what we need in America. Donald Trump is a fucking buffoon, and he couldn't give you that look. Donald Trump thinks saying the words, "you're fired," in a funny voice is being a boss. That's the look we need.
Bags who tried to end our democracy on January 6th.
I'm not able to be rushed this fast. It makes me nervous.
She is a badass, an accomplished badass. But she's a black woman.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black.
You need to look at yourself and see what you're really deciding on.
Never go away.
Now let's look at her opponent. You ready for the barrage of cluster Trump fuck-ups?
I have to clarify that statement. When I say this shit should never go away, I mean Donald Trump should. But the clips of Donald Trump saying, they're eating the pets. I didn't know she was black until she turned black like 10 years ago. Like, remember what I just said to Jay? I said sometimes you just let shit go by. Sometimes you gotta just let shit go by. Like, he had his chance during the debate. They softballed him one up there. They're like, sir, you were accused of pointing out Kamala Harris's race over and over again. Can you tell us why that's important to this election and why that's the thing we should be talking about? And Donald Trump, for about 6 seconds, he had it. He grabbed it. He grabbed that shit so quick. He was like, I really don't think it's that important. And then he lost it. He was like fucking Leon Lett, just holding the ball out as he runs to the 1 yard line, so excited that he was about to score a touchdown. Donald Trump was like, holy shit, I just did it. I won the Super Bowl. And then he fumbled. He was like, I don't think it's that big of an idea, but it is weird. It is weird. A piece of advice to you guys, especially you married men out there. A piece of advice. Sometimes you let that shit just go past you. Just let it happen. You don't need to say anything. Just go, yep, that sounds about right. That's actually, you got that one. My bad. Just a little piece of advice.
Now let's look at her opponent. You ready for the barrage of cluster Trump fuck-ups? And again, this is a partial list. And how the fuck are you still considering this hump? You can't decide? Oh, please. The choice is between a shit sandwich and macaroni and cheese. Here's why you can't vote for Trump. He can't run a charity because he stole from kids with cancer. He said he wants to date his daughter. Yeah, he said it out loud. That was his answer.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
His family got
Dude, as a father of a daughter, that is weird. I'm like I said, I don't need to make these because I just turned Titus on to make all the appeals to emotion for me. But you gotta admit that is kind of a weird, like, I mean, that one is like the borderline one, the one where they ask him whether or not, or they ask Ivanka, they say, what do you have in common with your dad? She's like, probably like business and golf. And then they're like, what do you have in common with your daughter? And he's like, sex. That shit was like, what? I could never in a million years imagine myself saying that to my daughter. That is such a strange thing to say.
Kids with cancer. He said he wants to date his daughter. Yeah, he said it out loud. That was his answer.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
His family got $2 billion from the Saudis after he tanked America's economy. Farmers bankrupt, stock market dropped, and millions got burned. Ran up $7 trillion in debt in one fucking term. He's a rapist. He's a tax cheat. He wears lifts on his feet.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold on. Is that true? Does he wear lifts? Because that'd be pretty ironic for all the people that made fun of Ron DeSantis if Donald Trump wears lifts, dude. That would be pretty funny.
And millions got burned. Ran up $7 trillion in debt in one.
You guys know that they're already talking about the fact that his new ideas with the national sales tax, the tariff's a terrible idea. I don't think Donald Trump, I genuinely believe that Donald Trump doesn't understand what tariffs are. Tariffs would be really, really bad. Yeah, like, look, as a person that pays income tax, like hearing somebody say, I'm going to get rid of the income tax. Of course, that sounds amazing. You're like, oh, hell yeah. That's a great idea. That little bit of that libertarian in me is like, oh. But it does, like, once you actually look into it, you're like, oh, that'd be a bad idea, actually. And the tariffs thing is fucking horrific. But they've already pointed out that Donald Trump's tax policies could add $6 to $7 trillion more dollars. Can you imagine? He's already added $8 trillion. So when he came into office, the debt was 23, right? And when he left, it was 30, or his portion of the debt due to policies to do with COVID, right? So part of that is from COVID, just so I'm completely clear. But $31 trillion, right? Can you imagine if Donald Trump adds almost the same amount of debt to the debt that we had when he came into office, when these people, the main thing that they believe that they're getting from Trump is smart fiscal policy? God, that would be so ironic and crazy. That would be so crazy.
Farmers bankrupt, stock market dropped, and millions got burned. Ran up $7 trillion in debt in one fucking term. He's a rapist. He's a tax cheat. He wears lifts on his feet.
Let me get my shoes.
Dude.
He golfed 300 days, and his wife thinks he's a creep. 100 generals and admirals said he will end democracy. He's a traitor. And I can't say it, but to me, he's see you next Tuesday. January 6th, you watch it on TV.
Time of the century. We are going to steal.
Still undecided? Yeah, I can see how you'd be. You're probably chewing on your toenails that are on your vinegar feet. Here's some more of his fails. Stole top secret classified documents and sent him his emails. He tried to kill his first vice president. Charged the government triple to stay in his...
Bro, he could do this for like, holy shit, so long. Like, it's insane to see a politician that literally took being a corrupt politician to a level that we did not even know existed. I mean, this is P. Diddy level. Like, Donald Trump did to politics what P. Diddy did to countless young artists. He fucked them. God damn, that is so crazy how long he could just continue doing this.
Classified documents and
pointing
sent
it
him his
out
emails.
over and over and
he
over
tried to
again.
kill his first vice president. Charged the government triple to stay in his bed-bug-filled residence. Called allies shithole countries. Took kids from their families. Put concentration camps on the border. Took women's rights by killing abortion.
I got rid of Roe v. Wade.
And the only defense anybody has to any of this is whataboutism. But you want to know the craziest thing about even the whataboutism argument? Is even if I gave you credit for the one whatabout, or the two whatabouts, or the 10 whatabouts, there's 30, 40, 50 other things that he's done. Like, you literally have to combine multiple other political opponents into one amalgamation of a politician. Like, you have to, you can just point out Donald Trump and be like, these are all the things he's done. Like, just stick to Donald Trump, all the things he's done. To just have a legitimate whatabout argument against the left, you have to include all the left. You have to be like, well, what about when Biden did that? Okay, what about when Clinton did that? Okay, what about when Obama did that? Okay, what about when Mendez did that? Okay, what about what's going on with Eric Adams? Like, you literally have to use the entire left to whatabout one man. Donald Trump by his fucking self versus the entire party of the left. Like, that's insane.
Called allies shithole countries, took kids from their families, put concentration camps on the border,
I think a lot of
took women's rights by killing abortion.
I got rid of Roe v. Wade. I got rid of Roe v. Wade.
Owes his rape victim $80 million, owes $250 million in taxes
I want to
and
answer something
fines.
Trinidad said. Trinidad said, I just think politics should be like Hermes from Futurama. Bureaucratic and boring as hell. I agree with you. 100% Trinidad. That's why I think me and you do agree on a lot of things, Trinidad. We disagree on some really basic stuff that there are, like I said, there are things about our voters that I really don't like. And me and you disagree on those. When it comes to politics as a whole, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a political commentator in this way. And that's why I think it didn't exist except for Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart had a really fucking brilliant brand of news political comedy, right? But he was one of the only people. There were very few other people that did it. The reason that it is the way it is today is because of Donald Trump. It is Donald Trump's fault. And that's why I keep saying this over and over again, is that Donald Trump, when you're voting Donald Trump out of office, you're also voting this comedy political sphere out. You're voting the drama, the weirdness out. It should be back to a point. The reason that voters are the way they are, the reason that voters are politically illiterate is because it was boring, because it was bureaucratic, because the few drama scandals would completely disqualify a candidate. It would like a person once went on tape at the beginning of the internet and lost his entire chance to ever be the president of the United States. That's what it used to be. Donald Trump broke our system. That's why I think that when you guys say these things like Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are the same person, you're fucking yourself even. I think that you really don't get it. That the reason that you have the things that you dislike in this political atmosphere is because people say things like Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are the same person. This would be a boring-ass political campaign if this was Nikki Haley versus Kamala Harris. If this was Ron DeSantis versus Kamala Harris. If this is Ron DeSantis versus Joe Biden. If this is Joe Biden versus Nikki Haley. Donald Trump is the central figure when it comes to any one of these problems that you discuss. And this is why I say I think me and you agree with a lot of stuff. But I think at the end of the day, you're still trying to be in that mentality that Donald Trump isn't that bad. Donald Trump is just another person or politician. And I think you're not giving him enough credit for the type of chaos that he creates. Donald Trump sucks the air out of the country, and when we can finally get Donald Trump out of here, and MAGA, like I said, Donald Trump ain't the main character. We need this year, we need Republicans to lose, because if the Republicans lose, if Donald Trump loses, you have the potential of the Republican Party splitting. You have the potential of Republicans fighting with MAGA and potentially kicking MAGA out. And if they kick MAGA out and MAGA becomes just another fringe political party like libertarians, like progressives, like these parties that have very, I don't mean in policy or legitimacy, I just mean in their size, then you push these people out to the edge and they go out there where you don't have to listen to them anymore. We might be able to get back to some type of sane politics, semi-sane politics. They're never sane, but semi-sane politics. Because if Republicans win this year, if Republicans and Donald Trump win this year, it's going to embolden them to continue to push forth candidates like Michelle Morrow, like Mark Robinson, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like Donald Trump. Like, this is more for me a vote for like the sanity of America's future. We need to vote Donald Trump out, not specifically because of Donald Trump, but because MAGA is a mental illness, and the only way that you are going to intervene in the Republican Party and force them to accept what's going on within their own home is to deal them a loss where they have to look at each other and go, this isn't working. We can't keep this up. Because they're drunk with the power of what Donald Trump gave them. They all saw him do something very base and vulgar, and they're like, well, I can do that too. Anybody can do that. That's why the grift on the right is so strong. So I'm just saying, if you want this shit to go away, you want politics to be boring again, then you need to vote against Donald Trump. You need to get Trump and MAGA out of politics so we can get back to this being boring, talking about tax code. Like that's what it needs to be. Here we go.
I got rid of Roe v. Wade.
Owes his rape victim $80 million, owes $250 million in taxes and fines, 6 bankruptcies. He's the biggest failure of all fucking time. He bankrupted 4 casinos.
Yep.
Failed at selling steaks, water, vodka.
And
That's
now
food,
watches.
Water, and alcohol. How big of a fuck up is he? Because this still isn't all. Here's some more. And again, this is a partial list.
That's
Damn,
what I'm
pissed.
saying. That's what I'm
Called
saying.
soldiers suckers and losers. He mocked the disabled, turned soldiers on protesters, 33,000 lives. Shit he says is so baseless. So we can also say he's a truth rapist. Has 0 experience in government. Said he cured COVID by injecting disinfectant.
Disinfectant. Disinfectant.
Yep.
And is there a way we can do something like that?
Or a powerful light. I'm sorry, what the fuck? Did I hear that right?
Powerful light. Powerful light.
And you can't decide.
Hit the body.
He gave 3 U.S. bases to the Russians, offered Putin a $50 million penthouse. Since '87, he worked with Putin, and you can't make up your mind about him? 150 historians rate him the worst president in history. He negotiated with Taliban terrorists, and you're still undecided? Your fucking ignorance is a mystery. And again, this is a partial list. And I'm sorry if you feel dissed, but 20 admirals and generals said Trump screwed up the Afghanistan withdrawal. 13 Marines died, but that ain't all. He wants books banned. He didn't do anything he said, and you're still a Trump stan? No healthcare, no infrastructure, 4 million jobs lost. Said COVID was a hoax, 400,000 excess deaths on COVID because of his stupidity. Said it would go away like a miracle. It didn't. He's an idiot, isn't he? Yeah. Mexico didn't pay for the wall. Wall didn't get built. Then stunning his pedo buddy got killed. He used a Sharpie on a hurricane map. What the fuck? He's best friends with Epstein the Beast. Trump's on Epstein's jet 7 times at least. Sued for raping a 13-year-old. Trump's our country's head pedo.
Perhaps not a single thing he's
Won't release his school records, not even a little bit.
All of this.
Won't release his tax records, not even a little bit. Hates immigrants. His mom is an immigrant. Holy shit. Central Park 5, he wanted them dead. But they were innocent. Indicted by the Nixon administration. He failed airlines, failed sports teams, gave billionaires and corporations billion in tax breaks. But he said you got him too. But look at your check. Yeah, you know that's fake. Said he'd be a dictator on day 1. Said he'd jail reporters just for fun. Muslim ban. Said election was rigged, but 62 court cases and cyber ninjas proved it wasn't repeatedly. tried to scam 11,780 votes in Georgia. You heard him say it, or fucking should I play it for you?
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Put a guy who owned coal mines in charge of the environment. And
people can say things like, oh, well, he was just asking. He was just asking. When you find yourself constantly making excuses, when you find yourself always saying the thing he said was not what he meant, you've got to ask yourself, am I an idiot? Because you probably are. He asked for those votes in the way he did because he's been scamming people his whole life. He knew he couldn't just say, hey, fucker, go find the votes or I'll put you in prison. No, Donald Trump's an idiot. But he's a career criminal. He knows that he can't just do that. No one just says, all I'm looking for is 11,780 votes. No. If you were truly interested in finding out whether or not there was fraud in an election, you would say something along the lines of, hey, I believe there's fraud in this election. I just want to make sure that the amount of votes that I got was the proper amount of votes, and that the amount of votes that Joe Biden got was the proper amount of votes. Can we look into that? Can we make sure that everything was on the up and up, everything was legit? That's how you would say it. You wouldn't say, I just need you to find 11,780 votes. You wouldn't be that specific. Jesus Christ, why do I have to explain this?
then he said he wants to end the education department. Fuck. Of the environment. And then he said he wants to end the education department. Fuck. He hired losers and criminals. A crew of Satan's minimals. These traitors are still around. Most did jail time. Bannon is still in lockdown. And he got impeached again.
Some of them are
He sent a crew to Ukraine
jail.
to get dirt on Biden. And after 3 years, couldn't find a speck of dust on him. Trump is arguably the biggest loser, failure, criminal, rapist, con man, hateful, evil, ignorant, obese, dumb dipshit we have ever had as president. And you're still undecided? Are you stupid? And that's a rhetorical question. Jesus Christ. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Damn! I don't understand how people have seen for 8 years what a total illiterate, fat, evil...
It is insane.
This guy is, and they're still like, I don't know about this black lady. I wonder how she's gonna do it. She's a badass. Fuck this guy.
He's not wrong, though. Like, I've been doing this forever now. Like a year and a half, 2 years. Might be over 2 years now, actually. It might be over 2 years now. And it's mind-boggling. Because you can go back. You can go back to my first videos, and you'll hear me say things like, you'll hear me say that I don't want to see Biden versus Trump because Biden's too old, and what the fuck has he done for this country? You can go back to 2 years ago and hear me say things like, some of these people are just mentally ill, and I feel bad for them. And you can see my progression as I watch more stuff and as I read more legislation, as I become more literate to policy and politics. You can watch my progression to the point where I'm like, I've gone from Joe Biden's old and this country's fucked to, man, that dude got a lot accomplished. Like, I don't sit up here and say to you guys, like, I'm not one of these people that's been 100% for this candidate the whole goddamn time. You know, I'm not like the 100% for all of it. Not this candidate, this president, his policies the whole time. No, it took actually like learning about the things. And that's what he's saying is like, if you spent the last 8 years being given all of this information, being educated to all of these things, and you're still like, well, I don't know if Trump's worse than Kamala, I got nothing. That's an education issue. That's a you issue. Like, I keep telling people on this show this. A lot of the problems in America aren't because of the government. It's because of voters. It's because it takes a certain level of intelligence, a certain capability to absorb, to become more educated to things that you might not either believe or don't want to believe or don't want to be true. And then to accept those things and also accept how they color your opinion on those things. And if you can't do that, then you sit here 8 years later seeing a partial list that took up 7 minutes of the insane things that Donald Trump has done, and you say things like Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are the same person. That's not even remotely correct. Not even close. One of the funny things I wanted to point out was the Lev Parniv thing. We got to watch that Lev Parniv thing. The Lev Parniv thing is fucking insane. I didn't know that Lev Parniv was just like a dude off the street. This is what I was saying earlier. When you hire people, you're hiring the people around them. You're hiring the people that they would put in positions. Lev Parniv is a self-admitted con man and hustler. And he's like, Donald Trump met me, talked to me once, and was like, bro, go find me some fucking information. And Lev Parniv, he literally sent Lev Parniv, well, I think Giuliani did, right? Giuliani sent him to Ukraine and Russia to find information on Joe Biden. And he came back going, I couldn't bribe any of these politicians to say anything bad about Joe Biden. That's crazy. Like, we're not talking about even a Jim Jordan, like a slightly, or actually Jim Jordan's really fucking shady, a shady character that is going around and trying to figure out these things, but he's still a politician. No, like Lev Parniv was just a hustler, a con man, a self-admitted hustler and con man. He's not like, like this is what people call me. That's what he calls him. Lev Parniv calls himself a con man and hustler. Like the best thing he could have done for him, for his own popularity, for his own money, for everything, for his own life, was to come back and just straight up lie and be like, I found all kinds of shit on Biden. He could have made up anything. He could have convinced people he's a hustler. He could have conned Ukrainian officials, which both the left and right both believe there are multiple people in the Ukrainian government that are corrupt. He could have found any one of those and convinced them to give him just like some fucking bullshit lies to take home, and he would have been a fucking star. He would have been a legend in the MAGA community. And he came back and he was like, I couldn't find anything. That's insane. Insane. Dude, I got what Gilly just said. I'm pretty sure Jim Jordan will have Trump's love child. Dude, that's the alternate reality that I just can't live in. Oh, man. Jim Jordan with a baby bump. He's just like, Donald Trump's down there kissing his belly. Oh, sorry. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I'm insane or if all this shit truly is as insane as I think it is. Because it seems like, it just does not seem like there should be any goddamn question about Donald Trump at this point. And I've told you guys before, I'm not going to sit up here and do the shady fucking, he's a bad person, appeals to emotion. I'm just saying, specifically based off evidence and proof. Cut away the weird fucking relationship with the daughter. Don't even talk about January 6th. Don't talk about, like, any of the fucking, he's a racist, he's a misogynist. Just cut all that away and just look at all the shit that he actually did. And I'm like, I don't understand how it's even comparable. But anyways, let's get on this, because this shit was fucking, this is crazy. I'm not insane. The election feels more polarizing than the last. That was truly polarizing. Yeah, but like I said, I actually think the solution to it, I know you said you disagree with that, Trinidad, but I do think the solution is dealing Republicans a loss that they have to do something about. I do agree with what you said, that the voters that are voting for people are still going to vote for the craziest candidate, and that's going to encourage people. I think that's what you're trying to say. It's going to try and encourage people to run that are insane people, just like Donald Trump. But I think that's like, I think the solution to our problem with voters is to hold each other accountable. I've said this for a really long time, and that is that I believe mocking mass psychosis, which I believe Trump supporters are under a mass psychosis. All the symptoms are there. The way that mass psychosis works with times of extreme adversity, with periods of calm interspersed between, and then more times of extreme adversity, is exactly how mass psychosis is created. And then having a central figure with which a group of people that are under mass psychosis can then give away all accountability and responsibility to, so that way they don't have to worry, that way they don't feel stressed out anymore, they feel like the person that's in charge knows best how to take care of them. I think that all of that completely explains exactly who Trump supporters are, and that they are under mass psychosis. Now, I am not a psychologist. I do not have the education or experience to properly diagnose mental illness, nor am I even capable of telling you how I think you can fix it. But the one thing I do understand about mass psychosis, and the one thing that does fall in my wheelhouse, is mocking mass psychosis is considered to be an appropriate action. You are supposed to shame that type of thing. It's part of our evolution. Shame is a incredibly strong tool to use when used appropriate. It can be used inappropriately, but shame and mocking are the few tools that are at my disposal that I can use to, in some way, hopefully help heal the country. And I think that I genuinely believe. I know you guys might think that's like cringy. I think you might think that's corny. You might think I'm overreaching, or I'm full of shit and I'm lying and I'm grifting. First of all, if I'm grifting, I'm really bad at it. But you might think any of those things, right? Like I think those are acceptable for you to believe. I think you're wrong, but I think it's acceptable for you to believe, and I can understand why you would. But I really do. I think that, like, I've been forced into this position to do this show. Not forced, but it happened. I got pigeonholed into it. And so I do this show. And I've taken it wholeheartedly, and I hope that I'm correct, and I hope that by dealing the Republicans a loss in this election will make them look at the people in their own party that have caused them to be mocked, caused them to feel shame, caused them to feel embarrassment, and make them go, you know what? I don't want to feel like this anymore. I want to get back to sanity. I want to be part of America. I want to, like, love this country again. I want to be a patriot, a real patriot. I want to, like, help people and make things better. That's what I want people to hear, recognize, and attempt. And I genuinely hope that is actually what happens. Trinidad says, to be fair, it depends on where you live. I agree with you. Take my city, for example. I'm very pro-migrant, but ever since the crisis in my city, I've started to become more and more resentful at the people coming at my city. My neighbors share the same sentiments. You know, a lot of what I don't know how much you know about World War II. Obviously, the Holocaust that happened in World War II is horrific, and you know, there's no excuse for the types of things that have happened with anti-Semitism since then. But there's some really crazy stories that when you look at Poland specifically, and I wish I could remember the name of the movie, but it's produced by Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's about an artist. I think it's on Netflix, so you can probably just Google the things I'm about to tell you right now, but you should watch this movie, Trinidad, and I think everybody should watch this movie. It's produced by Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's about an artist that I believe he's from Poland, and during either after World War II or during World War II, I can't remember, he lived in Poland, and the Jewish community, being displaced from Germany and places around Poland, kind of invaded his little subsect of Poland where he lived, a little city that he lived in. Now, they had no choice. But as, like, if you go to a place like Sacramento, there's huge Russian groups of people, right? Like, they all tend to live in the same place because that's what they're familiar with. And the same thing happened in Poland. A lot of Jewish people moved into these parts of the city that this guy lived in, and he felt himself being drawn towards hatred for them because he felt like, man, they take all these people's jobs. Man, they're taking over the housing. Man, they're, like, stealing the food out of our mouth. And he began, like, doing very anti-Semitic drawings and distributing them. And years later, he moved out of Poland. He came to America. He's got a crazy story other than that. This is the bare basic minimum of this man's story. But he ended up moving outside of the country to America. And he realized, like, oh, man, like, I was really hateful and angry at that time, and that wasn't appropriate. And he said, I was very, like, upset at myself. I hated myself for the things I said about Jewish people, the things I did about Jewish people, because I was, like, in the moment, and I felt really, like, upset that this thing was happening. And it actually, to make even matters even worse, white nationalist groups in Poland, when he got famous, started using those drawings of his to say, look, here's this like really important figure. Here's this like really popular person that believes the same things that we do. And that like really fucked him up. Like he was like, man, like just knowing that like I knew I made this mistake, but I didn't know I was making it at the time. And then I tried to make up for it. And then it continued to have these repercussions. And there's something to be said about that. Later, Reverend. Appreciate you, Reverend. There's something to be said about that. That, like, I do believe people deserve a path to redemption. Like, what the man did was unacceptable, right? And I don't even agree that what he did at the time was appropriate. Like, in no way can I stand up for that or support that. But I do believe that him understanding that what he did was wrong and attempting to make good on that. I believe he some of the art he sold after that, he specifically donated proceeds to Jewish communities, and he specifically supported anti-white nationalist groups that were pro-Jewish. And I believe in a road to redemption for people. I do. And that's one of the things that'll make people unsubscribe to this channel, right? Like certain people will be like, fuck you. Like that person is a piece of shit. There'll always be a piece of shit. I don't care about that. I'm always going to be against it, right? Like that's not me. I believe in a road to redemption. I think that people do deserve a right to prove through their actions, not with their words, but through their actions, that they understand that they did something wrong, and they have the right to try to reintegrate into society and make things better. So for this guy, I was actually like really like inspired by his story. Even though he did something that was really bad, he showed that he understood. My whole point of why I'm saying all this, Jay, is because I hear what you're saying. Just don't let you do that, right? Like, don't do that to yourself. Recognize what that man's story was. Recognize the moral of what he's trying to tell you. And that is that when you're there, when you feel this anger, this hatred, this like this feeling of helplessness, that 10 years from now, you're going to look back at that time and you ain't going to feel the same. You're going to realize that a lot of the stuff that you believe is being influenced by these people that want you to feel really super negatively about these people. Now, that's not saying that every immigrant's a good person. It's not saying that immigrants are incapable of doing things that are bad. What it's saying is that human beings are flawed. And it is not specific to their migrant status that they do these bad things. It's not specific to their migrant status that they're taking a job or that they're in a housing that somebody else could have been in. What it is that they're human beings just like anybody else. And the people around you have been doing bad things for so long. They've been flawed for so long that you've come to accept it as them just being one of you. And then when a migrant comes here, you see it as, well, I've already got all these people that are doing bad things. Now this person's going to do it too. But that's not acceptable because they're not from where you're from. It's a very basic evolutionary thing you're doing. It's fear of the other. It's tribalism. And you got to realize that 10 years from now, I think you seem like a good dude, Jay. If you recognize 10 years from now, like, wow, like I look back and things didn't turn out bad. Things didn't burn down. Crime didn't skyrocket. You're going to say to yourself, like, man, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I wouldn't have been that person for that period of time. Believe me, I'm an angry ginger. I've made all the fucking mistakes, dog. Like, dude, there's the things in my life that I'm embarrassed to talk about, but I know I have to talk about because I have to be honest. Like, there's lots of stuff in my life that I did that, like, I look back on and I'm like, man, like, I wish I would have been the person I am today then, but I wouldn't be the person I am today if those things didn't happen back then, right? Like, so I'm happy to be who I am today. But, like, there are things that I wish I wasn't there. I wish I wasn't a part of. All right. Let's have some laughs. I'm up here ranting today. I'm ranting quite a bit today. It's all your fault, Jay. I will take no responsibility, which is appropriate nowadays. So apparently, Tucker Carlson interviewed Roseanne Barr, which still boggles my mind. It's a really strange thing to see the absolute nutcases being embraced so wholehearted by the voices on the right. Can you guys think of, like, if you guys can point out somebody? I'm legitimately asking this. I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm not trying to be the left's better than the right. I literally want you to answer this question if you can. Who is somebody that is as wacky as Roseanne Barr that is being interviewed on the left by somebody as prominent as Tucker Carlson? Like, I continue to point this out. I do not believe all the right-wing people that come into my chat and go, the left is just as bad, the left has all this stuff going on. Because I have never been given a, like, apples for apples comparison of the lunacy that is currently, I'm not talking about 20-year ago conservatives, I'm talking about the current conservative party. The lunacy of the current conservative party is not matched by the AOCs of the world. AOC is fiery. AOC says some stuff that may be like pipe dreamish, like, some of the real progressive stuff, right? But she's not loony. Yeah, I just can't. No, that's right wing too, J. Rom. I'm looking for somebody that is specifically a left wing person being. I mean, there's tons of right wing people. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, I can give you a list a mile long of the clowns on the right that are being propped up in this current political atmosphere. Yeah, Jay, I mean, maybe you know somebody, anybody. I mean, like I said, it's not wrong to admit that somebody on your side is wacky, right? Like, if somebody on the left wants to, like, say to me, like, hey, I think this person's wacky, I'm not going to, like, be like, but Hassan's not as crazy as Roseanne, right, Jay? Come on. Like, Hassan says controversial stuff, but it's not, like, he's not insane, right? Like, he says things that are like the super pro-Palestine stuff, where he's, I don't want to put words in Hamas's mouth. God damn, that is harsh. In Hassan's mouth. But from what I understand about Hassan, and I don't watch a ton of his content, I only watch, like, every once in a while something pops up that I will watch, is that he will at times defend like some like terrorist actions, right? Yes, the Polish artist was an abstract expressionist, I believe. Like, see, this is the problem, Jay, is like anytime I've ever asked for that kind of thing, Jank does get pretty animated. Yeah, I'm not a big Jank fan. So for right now we have pulled out Hasanabi's family. But both of them, like, they get like Jank does the voices. Like, look, I do voices too, but I feel my voices are better. Okay, I think my voices are way better than Jank's. Maybe we have to put a poll up for that one day. But Jank says some pretty weird shit. Hassan, I've seen say some shit that I just, like, steadfastly disagree with. But we're about to watch Roseanne Barr talk about the left eating babies. I'm specifically looking for you guys to give me one person on the left that's as batshit crazy as someone saying that their political opponent eats babies. Like, has Hassan ever accused the right of being baby eaters? I would not deny it. If you tell me that he has, I'll be like, oh, okay, probably.
Coming, Roseanne Barr.
Thank you guys so much. So nice to see you.
Hold on, turn it over.
Thank you, Tucker, for having me.
Oh, I feel blessed to have you.
Oh, you're so sweet. That movie looks fantastic, doesn't it? James O'Keefe's movie.
Well, it is fantastic.
Dude, just so you guys know, too, my sister has, like, the same voice as Roseanne Barr.
Fantastic. I mean, the guy's honest and brave. It's not, being a reporter is not super complicated. It's not building a supercomputer, even taking apart your microwave. It's just like, be honest. And he is.
Yeah,
but he's like one of the only ones.
Tucker Carlson is such a strange dude. Who uses that as an analogy? It's not like taking apart your microwave. Do you think Tucker Carlson has taken apart his microwave? That man right there, like if you told me that he's taken apart his microwave before, I would believe you.
But
oh shit, damn it. I gotta be careful. I can't just go back 10 seconds on this thing. There we go. Let's go here.
Sweet. That movie looks fantastic, doesn't it? James
They're
O'Keefe.
eating
well, it is
the
fantastic.
doves.
I mean, the guy's honest
Exactly.
and brave. It's not, being a reporter is not super complicated. It's not building a supercomputer, even taking apart your microwave. It's just like, be honest. And he is.
Yeah.
But he's like one of the only ones.
Yeah, but that takes
And
a
he
certain
is.
soul.
Yes, it does. It does take a certain soul.
I love you too.
So let me ask.
Dude, come on. Guys, you guys can't tell me this isn't a cult. It's very culty. Like, this is the kind of stuff you see at like an evangelical or something. Just two dudes just having a conversation up on stage while people yell, "We love you!" to stuff like, journalism isn't hard. Oh my God, it's so strange.
I'm always interested. Well, you just said it yourself. Like, why, in a world full of reporters, is James O'Keefe the only one telling us what's actually happening to the country our ancestors built? And so let me ask you a variety of that question. Of all the famous people in the entertainment business, why have you decided to say exactly what you think?
Well, I always decided to say exactly what I think.
She ain't wrong. I told you, like, the one person that I don't think has actually changed, that has just been batshit crazy the entire time, and at one point or another we just thought it was funny and kind of cute and lovable, was back in the fucking 80s, Roseanne Barr on her show. She was always crazy. But back then, in the 80s and 90s, she was playing a role character, right? Like, she was the crazy mom, the crazy wife that was nagging people and saying insane stuff. Like, that's who Roseanne Barr was back then. But it turns out that's actually who Roseanne Barr was. It's actually 100% who she was.
Whether it ruins my life or not.
Dude, she is so... Dude. Dude.
Yeah, because...
Oh my God. That laughing. Oh, that laughing. Let's watch that one more time. That's some maniacal shit right there. I'm very bad at like pushing these buttons. That laughing was so maniacal.
Exactly what I think. Whether it ruins my life or not.
Spiking, stay safe, Spiking. Dude. And Tucker. Holy shit,
yeah,
they're
because,
scary.
That's why I got into it.
Spiking, stay safe, Spiking. That is a crazy storm out there in Florida. All of you guys out in Florida, stay safe. Appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Like, I've looked at some of the videos of what's going on out there. I've looked at some of the photos and stuff. That is insane. When I was like 7 or 8 years old, a levee broke, and me and my family had to like get out before the flood, and I got to see the aftermath of the buildings underneath the water and stuff like that after the levee broke. And I can tell you guys that, like, that's insane. That's crazy. And just stay safe out there. I really, really hope you guys are in a place away from all that craziness. 4 million people without electricity.
No, that's part of being a comedian. I mean, you know, to make anything funny, it has to have some truth in it, you know, and so the truth is the funniest thing in the world, really. Truth is so funny and so beautiful and so strong and...
Dude, she is so trippy. Like, and the weirdest thing, the ironic thing she's saying is like, you know, like they got to have some truth in it, and that is true. All of these cult conspiracy theories have like a really thin line foundation of truth to them that gets these people sucked in.
So incredible and so godlike, because God is truth, you know. So,
dude, Tucker is such a weird dude.
So you always got to find that kernel of it if you want to make people laugh or say anything that touches them or be real at all. You gotta be real, and you gotta, you know, come from that deep place. So I always wanted to do that, and plus I didn't have any choice. I always was like that. I was always born like that, you know.
Always born like that.
You know, it's really admirable. I don't know if I'd want it in my house in a child.
That's what my mother says. My mom says that. She's like, God, since the minute you were born, you were you. My mom says when I was born, all the other little babies were in their little baby beds there in the hospital, but there was one that was screaming real loud, and she just knew it was hers. And
oh my God.
She went down there, and all the other ones were all nice and being cute babies, but one of them was trying to shove both its fists into its mouth and screaming, and they had to put a little straitjacket on me.
Wow.
To keep me from eating both my fists. And she said, you know, it was always like that with you.
Roseanne Barr. Been crazy since birth. So crazy since birth, they had to put her in a straitjacket while she was still in the fucking NICU. Hey, it's not the NICU. Oh, okay. Anyways, I just wanted to watch that one part with the crazy laughing. That's like one insane laugh. That look at that. What a time to stop it right there. Look at Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is wacky, dude. Like there's certain people you look at and you're like, that dude ain't right. Like, there is something about that dude. Like, he's either taking a lot of, like, certain types of drugs and just never came back from it, or he's just, like, he's missing a part, right? Like, he's missing something that is very important to being a normal human being. He ain't got it. Dude. Alcoholism is bad? Exactly. Exactly, J. Rome. Alcoholism is bad. It kills brain cells. I mean, I can tell you. I can tell you. I do be liking the tequila. Had a lot of it last night. Too much of it. So anyways, that was like, I just wanted to watch that first part with you guys, because that laughing was like maniacal, right? Kind of like, just like once again, you see somebody laugh like that and you're like, ooh, okay, all right. So then we got this one. This is from Patriot Takes here. And Patriot Takes says, unhinged Roseanne Barr pushing election denialism in January 6th conspiracies at the Tucker Carlson event. This is MAGA. This is insane is what this is. And I guess this is probably like somebody like videotaping it from the front row.
They overthrew the constitutional republic of the United States of America.
Dude, like, look at that. And how did they go? Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I need to watch the rest of this interview, because how did we go from talking about baby stories and laughing maniacally to Roseanne Barr standing up screaming at a crowd, fucking looking super psychotic? This is amazing.
And then they covered it up with their January 6th bullshit.
Dude, tell me that's not scary. Like, you can't have a person like that in government. Like, Donald Trump's like, I could probably give her a job. Like, you can't have that, dog. That is like some fucking insane scary stuff right there. Some female Hitler stuff. Look at him.
With their insurrection.
Dude, do you think Tucker Carlson's laughing because he thinks it's funny, or is he laughing because he's awkward, or is he laughing because he's like, dude, the dollars are rolling in. These people will give me all their money. Like, you can hear like people laughing awkwardly in the crowd and shit too. And just imagine the people that are cheering right now, dude. Insane. Let's get that insurrection. Let's get the insurrection one more time.
With their insurrection!
One more time, hold on. Holy shit.
With their insurrection!
Dude, I need a soundbite of that. Oh, dude, I need to make my own soundboards. I need to start working on that because I need that. I need that clipped. Insurrection! Oh god, I can't do it. That like hurts my fucking throat. Wow.
Because the first thing President Trump did, God bless them.
Jesus.
They overthrew.
It's so wild that this is like exists. It's mind-blowing that this is like acceptable in society at all. So this is Peter Hinline, who's actually a conservative. So this dude, I follow this guy because he's a conservative that talks about Trump and how Trump is destroying not just the Republican Party, but democracy as a whole. So if you aren't interested and you happen to still be on X, first of all, sorry about that. That sucks because it's fucking terrible. It's a cesspit. But if you are still on X and you want to follow a guy, that'll actually kind of like make you feel better about like the conservative party, like that there is some sane people still there. Not many, but some. You should follow this guy because he's very common sense. Peter Hinline's his name, and he says, Tucker and Roseanne talking about elites eating babies. So fucking stupid. They want MAGA unfocused and dumb. And of course, Roseanne waited until her career was over and she became a MAGA influencer to start telling us about the baby eating. And then if you look at his like comments, you actually see there's a lot of people that are in the comments that are like conservative people that are saying how much they dislike Trump or how much they dislike the MAGA movement. So you can see that there's actually a lot of support in the conservative area for getting rid of MAGA, and this is why I think it's important. I think that Donald Trump needs to be voted out so that way really conservatives can clean house. Let's see, like what is this? I don't understand how people get to the point where they buy into this. It's amazing how deplorable Tucker Carlson's career has become. Is there a word or term that means both conspiracy and grift? Yeah, MAGA. Like a lot of these people are, when you click their profiles, you go look at them. A lot of these people, I mean, obviously like this person's a Democrat, but a lot of these people are conservatives that are very upset with the way that the Republican Party has been going. And it's actually like kind of like healthy. It actually makes me feel better to be able to like go and like look at these conversations between conservatives on X where they say to each other like, yo, like we got to get this out of our party. We can't support people like Donald Trump. This is what happens when you support people like Donald Trump. It's actually like really like it's a feel good kind of thing to do.
You know they eat babies. That is not bullshit.
And this is like when you have somebody say something like this, all of the conservatives, all the MAGA Republicans say things like, well, that's not what she meant. Oh, that's not what Trump meant. No, she's saying they eat babies. And then she follows it with the qualifier, that's not bullshit. Like, I mean, you can't sit there and say that's not what these people are saying.
You know they eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
Jesus.
It's not just the dogs and the cats.
Like, you also like expect people to like laugh right there, right? You also expect people to kind of like be like, Tucker Carlson made a joke. But they don't laugh because they actually believe it. This is how fucking insane these people are. Is that they've gotten to a point where you can literally follow up saying, you know they eat babies, that's the truth, with another person saying they eat the cats and the dogs, and no one's laughing. It's not a joke. This is a couple people saying the very things that they believe that later people will say things like, "Oh, they didn't mean that. They were just making jokes."
Eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the
Dude,
cats.
It's like a serious question.
They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh, and they drink human blood.
Dude, how did we get here? How did we get here? This is a person that should never be ever talked to, and she's literally being talked to by a person that has millions of supporters. How did we get here? We have to do something.
Still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh, and they drink human blood. They do, Tucker.
Dude.
Stop staring at me like that.
You're freaking me out, man. Because you spent your life in the entertainment business, so I think you have some authority on this.
Dude, see, this is what I'm saying. If you sat up there, if I brought somebody on, right? If I brought somebody on my show and they started saying that, even about the right, if they started saying it, I'd immediately start laughing, thinking they're making a joke. I'd immediately be like, dude, no way. I might throw in a couple things you mean when they're talking about the Floridians eating bath salts or smoking bath salts and then they eat each other's faces? And the person's like, no, I'm talking about they're actual politicians. Drink blood, eat human flesh. I'd be like, dude, the bath salts thing. No. These people, they're not joking. This isn't jokes. I am having a hard time making jokes about this because they're taking it so goddamn seriously. There's nobody in the crowd laughing. There's not even booing. You would think that there would be at least a couple of people out there that would be like, yo, that's crazy. Let's not be those people. We want to be taken seriously. It's fucking crazy.
Vampires. They love the taste of human flesh, and they drink human blood. They do, Tucker. Stop staring at me like that.
You're freaking me out, man. Because you spent your life in the entertainment business, so I think you have some authority on this.
So many kids that I was in mental institutions with over the years.
Wait, what?
They are all from those cults. And they've covered it all up. And
wait, what? Hold on. Did Roseanne Barr just say all of the kids that I was in mental institutions with? Did she work at a mental institution? Because I'm pretty sure Roseanne Barr did not work at a mental institution. Was she in a rehab facility or something? Is this something I don't know about Roseanne Barr? That is a wild thing to say. And then to be they were all in these cults. They were all in the blood-drinking, flesh-eating cult. Dude, is it not the most ironic thing to have Tucker Carlson and Roseanne Barr sitting up here, and Roseanne Barr is talking about people being in a cult? That is the most ironic thing that you could possibly...
with over the years.
So I think you have some authority on this.
So many kids that I was in mental institutions with over the years, they are all from those cults. And they've covered it all up. They covered it all up. And
okay, that's what she said.
I just pray to God.
That's what she said.
They eat babies. That is not bullshit.
Dude, I like how this can loop, and it sounds like it's still the same conversation. If you play the end of this, right? Let's play the end of this and then play the beginning. Play the end and then the beginning. It's a perfect loop. It is a perfect loop.
Have some authority on this.
So many kids that I was in mental institutions with over the years, they are all from those cults. And they've covered it all up. They've covered it all up. And You know, I just pray to God. You know they eat babies. That is not bullshit.
It just sounds like she just got off track for a second, and then she was like, anyways. Anyways. Dude, somebody's got to come get their auntie, okay? Because their auntie is she is losing her goddamn mind. So that was that one, and then there's these 4 here. Once again, I didn't watch a lot of these before I put them on, so if they're boring, we'll turn them off. But I have a feeling these are not going to be boring because, dude, the one thing I can say about Roseanne Barr and Tucker Carlson, it probably is worth the price of admission if you're not a cult member. If you're not if you are a cult member, it's probably worth the price of admission as well. But this is some straight up real people of Walmart kind of thing. Dude, I don't want to because I don't want to put my brain in this place, but I so badly want to go undercover at one of these events. I want to go there and videotape some interactions with some of these people. But I'm bad. I say everything I think, and I don't do a good job of being an undercover person. I need to pay somebody to do it for me because I laugh straight in people's faces. When I think something is funny, I just laugh right in the person's face. So, I don't have etiquette. I think I need somebody to go with me.
They're doing it. There are so many victims. There are so many victims. There are so many children victims that are now adults. There are so many adult victims who have been raped and brutalized.
Okay.
And seen.
Roseanne's trying to get me demonetized.
Their brothers and sisters murdered in these houses where their parents are.
Wait, is that actual Donald? That's probably not his a real account, right? TrumpForce47.com. We'll go to that in a minute. Even Donald Trump couldn't be that stupid, right? To fucking tweet during this shit? No, he could be that stupid. What am I saying? Of course he's that stupid. This is exactly what he would do. Exactly what he would do.
Their brothers and sisters murdered in these houses where their parents are, drug addicts, and because that happened to them too. It is.
What is she on about?
What did they call it when COVID? What was that? The
big lie.
No, that big lie. Yeah. But they said pandemic. What's the word?
What are you on about, lady?
Epidemic. Thank you, honey. The epidemic in America. The epidemic in America is child sexual abuse, and I just want people to see it. I want people to open up their eyes and.
Dude, it's so strange too because it's obviously, as a country, we're pretty concerned about that. I don't think that. Sure, there's a lot of weird fucking people out there, but I think that the majority of people, I want to believe, the majority of people believe that we have to do something about this problem. I don't think that this is some kind of fringe thing. This is what makes this all weird. Is these people act like there's some kind of fringe movement to stop the abuse of children. I was abused as a child. My mom was abused as a child. My sisters were abused by when they were children. My sisters and my mom got it worse than anybody. My mom was mentally, physically, sexually, emotionally, all the abuse, any kind of abuse. And it messed her up, My sister is the same thing. I witnessed a lot of that stuff. The majority of people, I would imagine, are good people that are against these things happening and want to see something done about it. And it's insane to watch Roseanne Barr and Tucker Carlson sit up there and say the crazy shit they do and then try to base that off a foundation of child abuse happens. Child abuse does happen. Child abuse is real. But all the other shit you say isn't. Therefore, you almost delegitimize something that we should not even be messing around with. I say they do actually more harm to the cause of dealing with child abuse than good by doing the things they do. It's not like they're bringing in
like all this like support and stuff from people that can get things done. They're only appealing to these absolutely insane people who probably might be participating in some of these things. Possibly. That's where my brain goes. That's where my brain goes.
And I just want people to see it. I want people to open up their eyes and see how prevalent and horrible it is. 1 of 3 girls, 1 of 4 boys in this country today. It's just horrible, and you just can't lie it away anymore. It's going to get more and more apparent, and you got to choose your side. You know what I said? When they didn't pass that safe law, boy, am I getting mad. Do you know Tucker? I better shut up.
Oh no, please keep speaking. Keep speaking.
Do you know how many people I had? Do you know what I do? Do you know what I've done since they stole that election in 2020? They gave us a goddamn COVID so we'd send in those mail order ballots and all that bull.
This is what I'm talking about. I actually think she does more harm to a movement to do something about child abuse, which is rampant and across the world, but in other places actually probably much worse than America even. But I think she does more harm. What do you guys think? You think she does more harm, or do you think this is like in some way like bringing a light of some weird sort to this problem? Because I think that like when people talk about things in this way, it trivializes it. It changes it. It makes it seem like people that... Yeah, I know. I don't want to even get into it. Like, her talking is now making me talking scary. Like, if I talk about the things that she talks about, it makes me feel like I'm going to say some dumb shit. Because all this shit should just be, like, logical. All this shit should be, like... You don't need to add all these other conspiracy theories into this. This is like when I was talking about Diddy the other day, and when I was talking about that stupid-ass Candace Owen tweet that I was arguing with that dude in my comments about, is that, like, you don't need to say gangster rap was created by the government by going and getting homosexual black men out of the prisons to then be gangster rappers. Like no, like what Diddy did was bad. Diddy bad. Diddy horrible person. Diddy try to burn people's shit down, kidnap people, make people have sex with people they didn't want to. All things that are bad. Diddy bad. Like that's all you need. You don't need to have like a fucking conspiracy behind it. Child abuse bad. Like that's like we don't. God damn it! It feels like it just like delegitimizes like the actual argument for like normal regular ass people.
Mail order ballots and all that bullshit, and the post office cheated too. Everybody in this country cheated us out of our president.
So what J. Rome just said, I think a lot of the cultists watching dumb shit like this is doing the research. You're probably fucking spot on. Like, this is where I'm stupid. This is where I'm an idiot. Because I, like, try to get, like, grace and faith to people and want to believe, like, that when they talk to me about things, that this isn't what they watch, right? Like, I want to, like, believe, oh, like, maybe they saw, like, a paper somewhere or an article or a study, and then, like, that, like, you know, they either exaggerated the proportion of it or they didn't do any more research into it. But the reality is they're probably just, like, literally sitting here watching Roseanne Barr drone on, which she looks like she's probably either drunk or under the effects of some type of drug. But like that's probably like the real actual truth, right? Like is that this is what they're watching. J. Rome's probably right.
Everybody in this country cheated us out of our president in 2020. They made us sick.
Oh, here she goes. This is where she starts screaming. That's how we got here.
Go, baby.
Dude, Tucker Carlson's like the dollars are rolling in. Dude. Jay says, left-wingers think that these crazy talking points will hurt right-wing politicians, but right-wing politicians rely on right-wing voters who in turn agree with them, so how could this hurt them? No, I think you're right, Jay. I think that the reality is that this is at least the makeup of a portion of the right wing at this point. That's why I continue to say that, though, is that I think that the Republicans have to lose this election. If they lose this election, then it affects their bottom line. If they lose this election, and when I say lose this election, I don't just mean Trump. I mean across the board.
Like, I think that Congress needs to shift, the Senate needs to stay the same or get better for Democrats, and Trump needs to lose. For Republicans to recognize the illness within their own party. I think that that's the only way that they're going to recognize it. And I do think that, like, the worst case scenario is that Trump wins, because if Trump wins, I actually believe that it's going to embolden them and make them think, like what you said is 100 times truer, that they're not going to just believe, oh, like these are some of the people that vote for us, but they're going to believe that enough of these people vote for us that we can win by still having the same crazy rhetoric. And then you got to like worry about what people in other political parties do. Earlier, Jay, you had said that's why you want to vote for a third-party candidate. And I'm actually concerned about third-party candidates for the reasons I was just talking about, because Cornel West now has started dipping his toes into the grifting on the COVID thing. Jill Stein is now dipping her toes in it. Even Marianne Williamson, who's not a third-party candidate but is a alternate Democratic candidate, has dipped her toes into it, and I like Marianne. And then you look at, even on the right, you look at RFK moving over into the MAGA Republican world, and you look at Tulsi Gabbard finding her spot to grift in the MAGA Republican world. My concern is that as if Donald Trump wins, not the damage that Donald Trump is going to do in the 4 years, because I think Donald Trump is a shitty president, a terrible leader. I think his policies suck. But I think that the damage that he's going to do to America will be repairable if, like, you know, people can wisen up to what's going on as far as, like, this guy's, you know, policies are fast food policies. They're going to do a lot of damage to America that you're not going to see until after he's out of office, and then they blame on some Democrat. But more importantly, I think the really scary thing is when you see people like Jill Stein, people like Cornel West, people like RFK moving over into the MAGA realm, because they see, like, oh, for years, like, as a third-party candidate, I can barely get 1-2% vote, but if I go over here to the MAGA side and I claim to be a part of their group, and I can, like, you know, kind of grift off of what they're grifting off of, then now all of a sudden, man, now I'm getting 10%, 15% of the vote. Now, like, people care about me. Now the news is covering me. Now Twitter's constantly talking about me. I think that that's, like, the real scary thing. Is, like I've said before, is that I think once Trump exits, once Trump is gone, whether it's he dies or he doesn't get voted for and refuses to come back in 2028, I think the real scary thing is that you're going to see RFK take over as the head of MAGA. I think MAGA is going to become a legitimate political party if Republicans win this year. MAGA will become a legitimate Republican party that has people like RFK Jr., people like Tulsi Gabbard, people like Tucker Carlson at their head. And then you're going to have all these people that, like, are disenfranchised legitimately because of the two-party system, disenfranchised, that feels like they never gotten any love from the Democrats, never gotten any love from the system, that then will start to grift off of these things too. And that's actually, in my opinion, the way that America does eventually end up failing. I believe in America. I love America. I love everything that we have and everything that we've done. Our history is mildly embarrassing, but the progress that we made, maybe not everything that we've done, but the progress that we've made because of those things. So that's, like, my real concern is that MAGA becomes institutionalized on the right. As an independent, Jay says, as an independent, I have to ask, why don't you view them already like a legitimate party? Oh, I do. I mean, I'm not talking about me, Jay. I'm talking about the rest of the world. Like, what I believe is often so many times, like, adversarial to so many different types of people. Like, that's why I claim to be an independent, right? Is because I've had right-wing people for sure that come in and fucking give me both barrels, right? I've had conservatives come in that, like, will argue with me over, like, taxes and stuff like that, right? I'll have traditional conservatives argue with me over gun rates. But I've also had left-wing people that come in and, like, I'll say something like, you know, like Jordan Peterson's 12 Steps book wasn't, like, that bad. Actually, it helped some young men out, you know, like, it is pretty important for certain people. I'm not a Jordan Peterson supporter in any way. I think that he's completely gone off the fucking handle. I think he's off his meds. I think he's lost his goddamn mind. But that doesn't mean that, like, some of the things that he's done in the past, like writing that book, weren't good for, like, young men. And I've literally had a left-wing person come in here and just call me a toxic masculine person. I've had to tell me that I should never have, like, you know, I shouldn't have a show. I'm a piece of human garbage. Like, you know, like, I think a lot of the things that I say don't always get. I don't think they canvas over a large portion of people. So when I'm talking about something like MAGA being represented as a party, yeah, I think of MAGA as a party as it is now. But I don't think that most people see MAGA as a legitimate party. You get that they're currently tied to the Republican Party, but look at other countries. Our situation with these two parties are dissimilar to other countries where they're legitimate. But I think a lot of that has to do with our constitutional makeup, Jay. Like, the founders didn't specifically, I don't think, set us up to be a two-party system, but I think the foundation that they laid in some way was always going to end in a two-party system. The way that things work with the way that, like, money is divvied up, the way that I'm trying to remember the actual law, but I cannot currently remember the actual piece of legislation. But to get access to certain funding within the government for your party, you have to, I think you have to poll like 2 or 3 years at higher than 5% or 3%, which I believe the Libertarian Party has done. Libertarian Party, I think, is the only party that has, other than the Republicans and Democrats, that has done that. And I might even be wrong about that. Libertarians might have never done it. But to have access to a certain portion of money in the government for a political party to be like a legitimate party, they have to poll at a certain percentage while running at that percentage for a certain amount of time. So once again, we're getting into Jay. We're getting into, like, when you say you're an independent, what you mean is you don't have a party, where there is an American Independent Party. So same thing. When I say that I don't think of MAGA as a legitimate party, or I don't think people see them as a legitimate party, I think that we also have to realize that the reason people don't see them as a legitimate party is because they have not qualified to be a legitimate party by the rules. But I do see them as a legitimate. Yeah, you gotta have YouTube Premium. Sorry, guys. Sorry. That is not paid promotion. I guess it is paid promotion. YouTube is paying me $3 a video.
The United States of America!
Jesus Christ. And here is why this totally makes sense to me. Because if I stood up in front of a crowd and I said, Donald Trump should not be the president, and everybody started screaming, I'd be like, all right, they agree with me. And I said, Donald Trump is bad for America, and everybody's cheering, you're going to keep doing it. And so this is, like I said before, a lot of times this comes down to the fact that this is what people are encouraging in politicians. Jay, probably something like me and you probably get on the same level with this, is that at the end of the day, if people want change, they have to make change. That's why I support what you're doing, Jay. I don't support the fact that you think that Kamala and Trump are potentially the same candidate, right? I disagree with wholeheartedly, which is acceptable. We should disagree on things. We're not in a cult. But what I do support about what you're doing is saying, like, it's up to us to do something about this. People, voters, need to recognize that if they ever want to change anything in their personal lives, they need to get better about how they vote. They need to be more informed. They have to care more about politics. And that's a hard thing to do because it's fucking exhausting, to be honest with you. Specifically when it's not as entertaining as this. Like, that's the real problem, is that, like, MAGA has drug all these people into the political sphere by being entertaining. Donald Trump brought all these people with him because he was an insult comic. He's like, legitimately, not in a good way, but he's funny. He's like legitimately stands up there. And if you like insult comics, if you like the Andrew Dice Clays of the world, even if you probably like Bill Hicks is the exact opposite. But if you like the way that Bill Hicks shit on people, then it's probably in some way you're like, oh, that was pretty funny what he said, Like Josh Johnson has a really funny bit where he says, when Donald Trump got up there
and said, like, directly to Ted Cruz's face, your wife is ugly, like, people were like, oh, shit. Like, oh, my God. Like, that's crazy. And he's like, if Ted Cruz really wanted to, like, win the vote at that point, Ted Cruz should have walked directly over to the podium while everybody was laughing, walked straight up to him, be like, say that to my face. And when Donald Trump leaned in on that mic and said, your wife's ugly, he should have been like, wow. And he probably would have won the Republican primary at that point. If Ted Cruz would have slapped Donald Trump dead off in his face for calling his wife ugly. And Josh Johnson is much funnier. Josh Johnson goes on to say, maybe people wouldn't have liked it, but I know one person that would have, Ted Cruz's wife. Like, but that's like, they made it more entertaining. They drug people in that don't have any real political literacy, that care very little about any type of policy or regulation. And they just wanted to feel included. They wanted to be like, yeah, now I get it. Now I get it. You know? And that's why she can stand up and scream like this. She can scream like this because people are applauding it. They are supporting it. And it makes sense for her to continue to do it as long as she's on the MAGA Republican side. That's insane. It's not a good thing at all. Not in the least.
They overthrew the constitutional republic of the United States of America.
So insane.
And then they covered it up with their January 6th bullshit.
Insane.
With their insurrection.
Oh, Jesus.
Because the first thing President Trump did, God bless that man, and I love him, and everybody knows it. I love him more now than I ever loved him, and I loved him pretty damn good. He drove me out in a Bentley when I did my second HBO special at Trump Palace in,
Dude, the chances that sometimes some of these things are, like, illegal, and these people just, like, scream them out on a microphone on video, it's, like, amazing how dumb these people are. Like, fucking him taking the Rolex on stream and the Cybertruck on stream. Like, this is what I keep saying, too. Everybody that's like, two-tier justice system. You know how many times Donald Trump, like, accidentally commits crimes? Like, because he's too dumb, he's too politically illiterate to know that the things that he's doing are against, like, campaign laws and shit like that. And he doesn't get punished for any of them. All the Logan laws that he's fucking broken by contacting foreign fucking leaders like Bibi and Zelensky and shit like that, and Putin. Like, he's done so many things that he could 100% be prosecuted for. And legitimately, the judicial system is set up to hold him accountable for. And we just, like, let it happen. We're just like, hey, it's just Trump. It's just Trump. Like, anybody else, we'd be like, why isn't that person going to jail? But with Trump, we give him the moron card. We're just like, he does dumb shit. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that what he's doing is wrong. Like, what she's saying right now probably is breaking some kind of campaign law. How much you want to make a bet? Holy shit.
An HBO special at Trump Palace in Atlantic City, if you've seen it. He's always been a good friend and a good man.
Don't
and
forget to like
to
the stream,
me,
guys.
And to a lot of other
Appreciate you
people.
guys.
And what was I saying?
Oh my
I'm old.
God. Dude. No. Oh my God. This is a level of insanity. Oh my God. I would say unseen before, but I'm pretty sure we've seen it. It's just like, I don't know. I guess I like unseen in American politics, maybe? I want to believe that this isn't something that has happened before, but it probably has. Wow. Alti just said, high-functioning and well-informed mentally ill people can be convincing. You are correct.
This is like some Hitler type shit, right? Like, I know that like that's all like overused. The like Hitler shit is overused, but this is pretty much what Hitler did, right? Like Hitler was like just fucking got up there and screamed insane shit at people and they cheered. Like he was just like very convincing in his ability to tell people bad shit was happening.
What was I saying? I'm old. I forget what I'm saying. What was I saying?
Well, I wasn't kidding about Roseanne being interesting, was I? I mean...
No, I'm sorry.
No, it's true.
I forgot what I was saying.
Dude.
You said they overthrew Trump.
Shit
Yeah.
crazy.
They used the COVID.
Yeah, they made
And then
up
January
COVID.
6th.
They got a... Fauci gave everybody AIDS, too. Did you...
Oh, my God. This is like MAGA's greatest hits. This is like, dude, if you made a list of all the weird shit MAGA people believe, like she's hitting it pretty good. She's at like a 90% clip right now. She's like, I got the COVID, I got the election still, I got the pandemic, epidemic, fucking voter fraud, January 6th. Dude, she's hitting it on all cylinders right now. Holy shit, this is actually like kind of a work of art in the MAGA realm, okay? This is impressive if you're a MAGA person. If you're a MAGA person, you're like, damn, she is like all the facts. She is spitting the truth right now. Holy shit.
January 6th.
They got a... Fauci gave everybody AIDS, too.
Fauci
Did you
gave
know that?
Everybody AIDS.
He did.
Dude,
Google
Tucker Carlson.
it.
I know this video is terrible. This video is so bad. It's like 330p or something like that. Come on, guys, get better cameras. This is like when people videotape UFOs. How is this video this bad? Everybody has a fucking 1080 camera, and somehow I am being forced to watch 330p. Okay? But even Tucker Carlson in this shitty video, I can see Tucker Carlson even is like, oh my God. Dude, when Tucker Carlson is like ashamed or embarrassed to be up there and concerned, like that should be a moment in your life where you're like, maybe I should seek help. Maybe I should get a therapist.
AIDS, too. Did you know that? He did. Google it. He withheld the AIDS treatment from dying people and came back to give us COVID, and he's working on a whole new one. Nobody stops any of these people. How come
Dude. What the hell, dude?
How come the same people are still around? The ones with the fake Pfizer's and Obama, this is his fourth goddamn term. How come...
Oh my God. She said it's Obama's fourth term? This is So wait a minute. Okay, hold on. It's Obama's fourth term. That means Obama was president while Trump was president? How do these people make this shit up? Like their own conspiracies don't make sense with their own conspiracies. Obama's fourth term, so he was president when Trump was president in 2016? What? Dude. I am surprised when they hit me with a new one. That was a new one.
The same people are still around. The ones with the fake Pfizer's and Obama, this is his fourth goddamn term. How come nobody does anything about Obama
drunk.
and he's still running around? After fasting...
Wait. Okay, I'm going to guess. Okay, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say that she thinks he should be in prison. But saying something like, how could he have done all these things and still be running around? Like, you got to be real careful. That's how people get shot at. Okay? And notice that generally the people doing the shooting are on that side of the aisle, even when they're shooting at their own people. Dude. This is unhinged.
How come nobody does anything about Obama and he's still running around?
Jesus.
After Fast and Furious.
Great Bill, you're just in time.
Pfizer's,
Rewind a bit, buddy.
They
overthrew the government of our country, and they haven't even answered for it. And that pisses me off.
Whoa. Dude. Holy shit. This is unhinged. This is crazy Bill type of shit.
And that pisses me off. Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
Oh
you
my
guys,
God. That's not what she was going to say?
They did that. Tucker, I'm sorry. But since they
Oh,
did
she's
that.
definitely. No, sorry. It's someone cheering backstage. Yeah.
No, I have been on the phone. You guys
Exactly,
would not
Liz. The
even
cheering
believe
audience is
how
the scary
many
part.
people I have called. Every day I am on the phone, and I'm causing trouble every single place I can, wall to wall, coast to coast. I am.
Dude.
You are the best.
Because you know why? Because...
Dude, if somebody on the left brought somebody up on stage and they went this unhinged, this shit would be all over the news. Why is it that I have to... God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Why do I have to go to X to find these videos? God damn it, I am like actually agreeing with Elon Musk, and this makes me want to opt out. If you guys know what I'm saying. Like, I'm gonna go drink the Hinsbane right now. I can't be okay with this. Why am I finding this stuff? Why is this not being like broadcast 24/7 on like every news media anything in the country? This is news. This is crazy fucking right-wing MAGA member talks about Barack Obama having 4-term presidency. Jesus Christ, I need to quit my job and become a goddamn real journalist. This is what it's making me feel like right now. I feel like right now, like I'm fucking up. That I should stop like doing my normal job because there's this crazy shit that's going on that nobody wants to actually talk about. This is important. This is important. How is it not that like this shit is like everywhere right now? Why am I going to YouTube to David Pakman or Brian Tyler Cohen or on X looking at Mark Maycott 2? This video, I shit you not, has 428 views. I'm sure that there's somebody else that shared it that probably has a million more views. This video has 428 views. My video that I'm doing right now will end up with like 500 views. I'll cut this up, turn it into a video, and put it out. It'll get somewhere between 200 views and 4,000 views, depending on what the algorithm God decides to give me, right? This should be the front page news on every newspaper is this picture of Roseanne Barr saying a quote. You know how many good quotes you could put on the front page of a newspaper right now? God damn, I am turning into a conspiracy theorist.
You are the best.
Because you know why? Because you know how Trump says they're not after me, they're after you, and I'm just in their way. You know how Trump says
took
that?
all her brain power to remember that.
Well,
that was a struggle.
They're not after America. They're after the world, and America's the only thing that stands in their way.
That is true.
If they take America, they'll take the whole damn world. Every kid in it.
Dude.
I'm here for the kids. I'm here for the kids.
Dude. Like I said, for me, that's the scary part, is using that foundation. Because there are so many of us, obviously, that legitimately want to help kids. But this isn't how you help them. This is like makes like people like I said, this is just insane. It's unhinged. It's unhinged. But it makes people afraid. Like Like, there's no fucking way I would ever attach myself to anything that Roseanne Barr ever did. And so it's like, I mean, it's fine. Like, you can go create your own shit or whatever. But, like, in some ways, this is actually, like, super detrimental to the very causes that she's claiming that she's trying to, like, do something about. Dude, so unhinged. Absolutely unhinged. And just so you guys know, there's a ton more. There's, like, this is just her interview. This is just her interview at the Tucker Carlson show. So there's more to it. If you guys want to go check it out, like, feel free. Go check that out, okay? That was unhinged and insane. And I will probably be recutting up that video and making another video of it because that needs to be seen more. All right. Where are we at? We're right at the end. But I do want to watch this video, so I'll try not to talk too much during this video. But this one looked like amazing because, like I said, it's really funny to think about the fact that Kamala still lives so deep in Donald Trump's brain that he is probably watching his crowds now. And, like, somebody gets up to go pee. And he's like, where are you going? Sit back down. No one leaves my rallies. At what point do they start locking the doors so that way people can't leave? That's the real question. Anyways, this is a video from Donald Trump. Well, it's from Brian Tyler Cohen on Donald Trump getting upset about people leaving his venues.
I want to explain something. The people that you see leaving, because nobody ever leaves. And when they do, I finish up quick, believe me.
Wait, what? Hold on. I need that one more time. I need him to give that to me one more time.
I want to explain something. The people that you see leaving, because nobody ever leaves. And when they do, I finish up quick, believe me.
Oh, God damn it. I hit that again. How does that make any sense in, like, a positive manner? Okay, somebody Trump-splain that for me. Somebody Trump-splain me how people don't ever leave, but they do leave, but when they do leave, he finishes up quick. Somebody Trump-splain that one to me. Like, I know his followers are mind-bogglingly stupid, but even, like, a complete fucking imbecile would go, wait a minute, that don't make sense. Okay, we'll play it one more time because, like, I'm gonna need that in my head. I don't understand how.
I want to explain something. The people that you see leaving, because nobody ever leaves. And when they do, I finish up quick, believe me. But I couldn't take pictures at the beginning. So I take them at the end sometimes. If I'm late, the plane gets late, you get delayed, lots of things happen. There's a little hurricane going on in Florida, as you know. And so what they do is they say, oh, please come up now at the end of my speech. I said, don't do.
What is. How? Where? Why? What? Who? What the fuck? What did he just say? God, I need like a Google Trump explainer. Dude, look at the ads on this. Get your contagion emergency kit today and be prepared. Ivermectin. Are there people out there just like seriously buying like ivermectin kits now? What is going on in MAGA? Oh. Dude, I kind of want to go undercover. I know I might get too deep in it, but dude, like, it has to be a fucking crazy thing to live in the MAGA world right now. All right, we're going to try one more time because I do not understand what he just said.
At the beginning. So I take them at the end sometimes. If I'm late, the plane gets late, you get delayed, lots of things happen. There's a little hurricane going on in Florida, as you know. And
a little one?
So what they do is they say, oh, please come up now at the end of my speech. I said, don't do that. Because it looks like they're leaving, like your husband who owns this place.
That incomprehensible word salad was Donald Trump trying to explain away the fact that people were leaving his rally today in Michigan. And so to give himself some cover here, he spewed out a bunch of random words that I must have listened to at least 6 times in an effort to find some coherent through line, but couldn't.
Thank you, BTC.
Ultimately, what I assume...
Fucking imaginary high five, BTC. Dude, me and BTC on the same page. I like it when the big guys like Brian Tyler Cohen and like David Pakman, Destiny. They like say the stuff I say. I'm like, yeah, you stole that from me. I know that I said this after he made the video, and he already said that. So the most likely thing that happened was that I would have stolen it from him. But you guys saw me pick this video randomly. Okay? You guys saw that shit. Okay? I didn't pick it. All right? Did not pre-watch. All right? So I know it makes no sense at all. But if Trump can do it, I can do it. Okay? BTC totally stole my thoughts. He was in my head. He stole my thoughts.
Michigan. And so to give himself some cover here, he spewed out a bunch of random words that I must have listened to at least 6 times in an effort to find some coherent through line, but couldn't. Ultimately, what I assume he wanted to say was that somehow the people who he was referencing having left his rallies weren't actually leaving. Only, small problem, there is video footage of exactly that. Take a look at this clip and pay particularly close attention to the sound of Donald Trump's voice on the loudspeaker while these folks are exiting out of the building.
That's right, Lions fan. Get out of there, Lions fan.
Although I assume that Donald Trump's response to this video evidence would be, quite simply, not to believe our lying
Fake
eyes.
news.
And let's be clear, this isn't even close to the only time this has happened. In fact, it's happening with more and more frequency now. Just a few days ago, this is what happened at his rally in New York.
Think of what our nation would be with no Russia-Ukraine war, no October 7th disaster in Israel, and the Middle East.
So now, usually, I'll be honest with you guys, when I see these pictures, I'm always like, all right, guys, are we being honest about this? Because, you know, a lot of people, they take pictures before the rally, or they take pictures, you know, like of somebody that's not Trump or something like that. So we all know in the media there is some dishonesty. And getting clicks is, for most people, more important than being honest. But you can obviously tell that Donald Trump is giving a speech right now, and that is a lot of empty seats, guys. That's kind of undeniable as far as evidence goes, that it seems as though Donald Trump is telling you all he's really super goddamn popular, and yet he can't feel what looks to be a pretty small stadium.
This isn't even close to the only time this has happened. In fact, it's happening with more and more frequency now. Just a few days ago, this is what happened at his rally in New York.
Think of what our nation would be with no Russia-Ukraine war.
There's more people there when the Lions sucked.
Israel and the Middle East.
That's a good one, LeVon.
Inflamed right now. It's inflamed like nobody's seen it for 50 years. No inflation and energy dominance. That's
Dude.
what we have, energy dominance.
Now, and if you're a semi-logical human being, you can understand why people would leave. Because, like, imagine sitting there as this guy just, like, rambles about, like, the same weird shit you've been hearing him ramble about for the longest time. Like, I'm sure a lot of people that are Trump supporters probably really actually look forward to these events. They see clips of Trump, they don't watch him speak, they don't really know Trump, right? Like, they're like, dude, it's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be like a fucking rock show, it's gonna be incredible. You see all these weird people that show up and stuff, you get excited, and then you show up and he's just up there like low-T energy, droning on about the same dumb shit you've heard him drone on about before. I can see why, like, some of these people who are Trump supporters are probably like, they probably make excuses. They probably say, like, oh, he had a bad day, or like, oh, you know, like, he's exhausted. He's been on the road for so long. So they're probably still voting Trump. I don't doubt that a lot of the people that are leaving still voting Trump. But you can also understand why the hell, like, yeah, I would, if I went to a Kamala Harris speech and this is what it was like, and it wasn't like, there was no pageantry, it wasn't like high energy, it wasn't like fun, I would leave that too. Because I wouldn't be like, oh, dude, this is like, Jesus Christ, are we just going to sit here and drone on? Yeah, no. It just makes sense.
Inflation and energy dominance. That's what we have, energy dominance. We'd have no inflation. We wouldn't have either.
It's AI. Exactly ours, wife. It's AI.
Oh, we can't let them cheat on elections anymore. We will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. Right now, we have a capital that when you go down there...
This shit's giving me vertigo. Please stop. Please stop, sir. You're giving me vertigo.
And we will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. We're losing that now.
He's like, that wasn't me. That's AI Trump.
And the amazing thing about this is that while it would normally not be an issue, Trump makes it an issue because he's just that insecure about crowd size. Honestly, no one would usually give a shit if people leave a rally early, but Trump has proven that it's really all he cares about. And so as a result, Kamala Harris was able to harness that insecurity to show just how weak-willed and impulsive Donald Trump is.
$3. That's what I'm asking for you to donate right now to help me defeat Ted Cruz.
He used to be a football player.
The polls show this race is tied. And
Kick his
shaping up
ass,
to be the
Colin.
most expensive
Kick
race in
his
the
ass.
country. So
And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer.
God, she roasted him
And what you
so
will also
hard.
notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion
He's
and
like,
boredom.
this
And
is
I will
it.
tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you.
Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill and success?
This is the the best part about this is the thing she literally pointed out that he wanted to talk about the most. Like, this isn't like some random thing, like, as an abortion or, something that he wants to avoid. The immigration topic is the 100% thing that he wants to talk about the most. And she triggered his ass so goddamn hard that he was like, I don't even want to talk about the border. I want to talk about what she just said. It was fucking brilliant. Brilliant.
Of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you.
Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the
Please.
rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there. And then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions.
Did you guys notice that him and Roseanne, like, the speech patterns is the same? It's conspiracy theorists, dude. Every person that you talk to that talks about all this stuff talks the exact same. They're like literal bots. They're sheep. And even the dude who's supposed to be the shepherd is one of the sheep. It's so crazy.
What's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
Think about what you just saw for a second. Trump is so easy to read, so easy to manipulate, that all Kamala Harris had to do was tell this grown-ass man that his rallies were boring, and the guy running to control the nuclear arsenal in this country melted down like an ice cream sundae in the Arizona sun in July. If Trump is that easy to manipulate on a debate stage in front of 75 million people, presumably with plenty of practice leading up to this event, imagine how easy he is to manipulate behind closed doors when he's sitting.
Yeah, behind closed doors is bad enough, but imagine how easy it is to manipulate from somebody like Putin. Putin, who, like, one of the craziest things that Trump supporters believe is that Putin is scared of Donald Trump. Putin is one of the few 100% legit gangsters out there. Like, I don't support a goddamn thing that Putin does. But if you think that Donald Trump scares Vladimir Putin, you're an idiot. You could possibly be the dumbest human being on earth if you think that a guy that is ex-KGB, a dude that has had multiple people killed, a dude that literally his political opponents fall out of windows and drink poison tea, is sitting across from Donald Trump, the fucking reality TV show guy that said, "You fired." That's what he's known for. If you think that guy scares Vladimir Putin, you're a moron. Dude, he's not just being manipulated by the people behind the scenes like Mark Meadows or William Barr or Eastman or Chesbro or whatever dipshit that he runs into on the street. He's also being manipulated by people that are scary as fuck, like Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, and Xi Jinping. Jesus Christ, people are dumb.
Imagine how easy he is to manipulate behind closed doors when he's sitting face to face with the world's autocrats and dictators who are much, much smarter than he is. If you are wondering why it seems like Trump is already a useful idiot for someone like Vladimir Putin, already doing his bidding, now you can understand why. You don't have to be the world's biggest genius to manipulate Donald. You just have to have the strategy of an 8th grader and you can accomplish your goal. And look, while I'd love to spend this entire video exposing just how sensitive Donald is over his precious rallies and how sad he gets when people inevitably leave because there is only so many times human beings can listen to someone lament the death of a make-believe cannibal or whine about the water pressure in his shower, I figure that while I have you, and knowing that the economy is one of the top issues of this campaign, let's take a quick moment to compare both of these candidates. Kamala Harris's economic plan will be the best thing to ever happen to the middle class and working class in this country. $25,000 for first-time homebuyers, with 3 million new housing units expected to be built, which will bring the cost of all rent down. Legislation to stop predatory investors who buy up rental homes and collude with each other from raising rental prices. A national ban on price gouging for food, and giving the FTC the authority to go after the companies who do it. A $50,000 tax break for new...
Which, by the way, is not price controls. Once again, I hate that the left glommed onto that. So we just watched Roseanne Barr say some of the most insane things you'll ever hear, and yet the left-wing media will not say a goddamn word about that. Kamala Harris comes out and talks about a national price gouging ban, which is already in something like, I think it's 43 states in America already have price gouging bans. It's just that you would put it on a federal level. Never once says the words price controls. And the fucking left-wing media takes price controls and prints it front page of every goddamn newspaper. Price controls. She said price controls. Not once does Kamala Harris talk about price controls. Fucking drives me nuts. Makes me so goddamn mad.
National ban on price gouging for food, and giving the FTC the authority to go after the companies who do it. A $50,000 tax break for new small businesses, and a goal of 25 million new small business applications in the first 2 years of her term. $6,000 in tax credits for newborns, and a restoration of the Democrats' $3,600 tax credit for middle and low-class families, all the while not raising taxes on any household earning $400,000 or less. It would be the best elements of the Biden administration, which has already led to the U.S. to the strongest economy in the world, a record high stock market, and record job growth, while adding even more policies to help the middle class. Meanwhile, Trump's economic plan? To slap tariffs as high as 200% on every product entering the United States. And guess who pays the increased costs? American consumers. Meaning his economic plan is a promise to pay more for nearly everything you buy. This after years of Republicans wailing about high prices. Now they're going to help promote the candidacy of someone who will ensure that all of those prices will skyrocket, all because he doesn't understand how tariffs work. Is that a risk that you're willing to take with your bank account? So look, whether it's an issue of the threat Trump poses to our national security because of how easily he can be manipulated, how bad he'll be on the economy because he doesn't understand how it works, or simply how hostile he is to the very concept of democracy, it is our job to ensure that he never gets near the levers of power in this country again. And
And Donald Trump, look, this is what people should be concerned about. Donald Trump, it gets so upset over a person on a debate stage telling him that his crowd sizes are smaller, that people leave his rallies early. He gets so upset that a month later, he's still talking about it. He's still getting super angry and worrying about whether or not people are leaving his rally. He's talking to the people that are leaving. He's explaining why they're going. No, I'll end my rally early if people leave. That is not who you want sitting across from Vladimir Putin. That's not who you want sitting across from Xi Jinping. It's not who you want dealing with the potential reality of a World War III. It's the last person that you would ever want to deal with those things. Donald Trump is not fit to be the president of the United States of America, and he proves it every day.
He is to the very concept of democracy, it is our job to ensure that he never gets near the levers of power in this country again. And finally, just for posterity here, I'll leave you with this image of Kamala Harris's rally, because unlike Donald Trump's mini rallies where he drones on about how he's God's gift to the world, this is what excitement actually looks like.
So Arizona, bring that joy with you, bring those smiles, bring that positive future as you join me in welcoming the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Because a Kamala Harris convention, a campaign event, actually has meaning. Like, these people are there because they want to hear Kamala Harris speak. They want to hear Tim Walz speak because they give them hope, because they make them feel good, because it's a super positive effect that they're having on the voter base. It's not because he's going to sit up there and tell you about how windmills cause cancer. Or talk to people about how Hannibal Lecter was a great dude. He's coming across the border. Like, a Walz-Harris campaign event is something that people look forward to. A Donald Trump campaign event is something that people look forward to leaving.
Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is
go like Brian Tyler Cohen's show, because Brian Tyler Cohen is amazing. He's one of my favorite dudes. If there was one dude, sorry David Packman, sorry Destiny, sorry everybody, if there was one person that I could link up with and like do some work with, it'd be Brian Tyler Cohen. I fucking love Brian Tyler Cohen. I think he does it right. I think he does things the way they should be done. I think he's very honest. I think he's very intelligent. I think he speaks really well to the guests that he has on, like Lynn Kirshner. Love his talks with Pelosi. If there's one person on YouTube that I could work with, it'd be Brian Tyler Cohen, 100%. So really appreciate everything that Brian Tyler Cohen does. Okay, you guys keep saying Scared Ketchup, so I'm not going to watch the whole thing, all right? Because I was supposed to be off this like 40 minutes ago. But because you guys keep asking for it, we're going to watch the Scared Ketchup Trump ditty. It's probably hilarious. I'm sure it's hilarious. Okay. Dude. Which one? Oh, that one's from 4 months ago. A Trump Show special report. AI Sean P. Diddy comes. Big apology with co-host AI Lauren Boebert. Oh my God. So it's this one. This one's the one we're talking about? Okay. So those of you guys don't know who Scared Ketchup is.
Every day, we're working to make California's energy system safer and stronger than the day before.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, is it a musical, guys? Is it a musical? What are you guys about to do to me? Oh, God. All right. Here, let's make sure we're gonna put Scared Ketchup's channel in the chat real quick. Oops. No, not that. We're gonna put. God damn it! I pushed the wrong button. I'm pushing the wrong buttons. We're gonna put Scared Ketchup's channel in the chat, so that way, you guys, if you don't know who Scared it is, I will be watching the whole thing. Okay. All right. Calm down, guys. Calm down. This is Scared Ketchup. He only has 105K subscribers, and it is criminal that he only has 105K subscribers. So please go like, subscribe, and watch Scared Ketchup's videos because they are hilarious. They are one of the funniest AI things that you'll ever see on the internet. All right, so this is P. Diddy and Donald Trump in Ebony and Ivory. I'm already laughing. This is gonna be amazing.
Ebony and ivory live together in perfect harmony. Black and in jail, you're white and free, but we're both rapey.
Oh! Dude, why is that such a believable Ted Cruz? That is such a believable Ted Cruz. Was that Marjorie Taylor Greene as Dog the Bounty Hunter? Oh, dude. Have Marjorie been lifting? Oh, man. Oh, man.
I gotta stay alive, I need to survive. Just give me a shiv and a pot, no jive. That's the spirit, just hang tight, bro, or your next fashion show will be in prison, yo. Keep control of the ladies, that was my motto. So I dosed them with Molly down in the grotto. I was more than happy with my daughter cutie too, and unlike you never mess with the boy booty too.
Oh God! You guys know that he's in the same jail cell as Sam Bankman-Fried. Who do you think got top bunk? Who do you think got top bunk in the Sam Bankman-Fried P. Diddy jail cell? I'm gonna bet that it was Diddy. I have a feeling when SBF gets out of prison, he's gonna have some stories that he ain't gonna want to tell anybody about. People are gonna be like, "What was it like being in jail with Diddy?" And he's gonna be like, "Fuck carrots." Somebody's gonna go to give him like a water bottle, and he's like, "Ah!" Yeah, like PTSD. He's like, "Keep that water bottle away from me. Reminds me of baby oil." And dude, SBF deserves that shit too. Just so you guys know.
Like you never mess with the boy booty too. Ebony and ivory live together in perfect harmony. You're black and in jail, you're white and free. We're both ready.
He ain't wrong, dude. Oh yeah. Oh, dude. I also want to point out something that's very important, guys. This is what AI was made for, okay? Just like the internet, eventually people are going to ruin AI, and it's going to be used for some nefarious purpose, and we're all going to sit around going like, fuck, AI is really like destroying stuff. Just like the internet. The internet was made for funny, okay? It was made for music and occasionally pornography. The AI also should be made for the funny, okay? So just remember this day. This is one of the last days we'll see the for fun AI. Get it, Lauren. Go, Bobo.
Back in the day, we were living the dream, popping bottles and models, making them scream. I was grabbing the pussies, I was spiking the drinks, unloading the cash from the back of the Brinks. I was a shitty ass rapper, I was king of the con. I'll tell a dapper with my Sean John on. We both knew the trick of making the green, and we both liked him young like our buddy Epstein. Ebony and ivory live together in perfect harmony. You're black and in jail, you're white and free, but we're both rapey.
Oh no! There's absolutely no reason to ever do that again, Scared Ketchup. Please, like, that's like a weird mix of like Bruce Springsteen and Jeffrey Epstein, and it's not okay with me. Jeffrey Springsteen or Bruce Epstein. I think that Bruce should probably take legal action, to be honest. Sorry, Scared Ketchup.
Popping bottles and models, making them scream. I was grabbing the pussies, I was spiking the drinks, unloading the cash from the back of the Brinks. Back in the day, we were living the dream. Popping bottles and models, making them scream. I was grabbing the pussies, I was spiking the drinks, unloading the cash from the back of the Brinks. I was a shitty ass rapper, I was king of the con. I looked hella dapper with my Sean John on. We both knew the trick of making the green, and we both liked them young like our buddy Epstein. Ebony and Ivory lived together in perfect harmony. Back in jail, you're white.
Get it, Ted. Wife's ugly.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share and leave a comment.
All right, we're gonna make sure to, guys. One more time, if you haven't gone and liked, if you haven't liked this stream, please like this stream, please. If you haven't subscribed to me, please subscribe to me. But also, go help my boy out, dude. Scared Ketchup's one of the real ones. I love this stuff. This is like amazing. That was crazy. Mildly catchy, and I'm probably gonna be singing the song. Gonna be honest with you, as well as throwing in the P Diddy parts. That I think the one mistake Scared Ketchup made with this video is he didn't have any Diddy interruptions. He should have at least had Diddy dancing somewhere in the video. Okay, all right, and he should have definitely had some what, yeah, okay, what, yeah, okay. Like, he needs that. Like, that's in every Diddy video ever. So, I'm going to give Scared Ketchup on a scale of 1 to 5 ketchups thrown against a wall. I'm going to go 4 ketchups thrown against a wall. We're going to dock him 1 ketchup thrown against a wall for not including the Diddy track over. The speaking over the singing. That's what we needed. You're in the comments. Good job. Good job, Mike. All right, guys. Well, this was a fun one. I knew today was going to be fun. We had a lot of fun videos today. We had a lot of, like, I mean, some of that shit, 100% scary as hell. The Roseanne Barr stuff, very worrisome that's a real thing. But for the most part, really fun show. I had a great time. Tomorrow is the football show from 9 to 9:40-ish, or 8:40 to 9:40-ish. It depends on when I wake up. Depends on how much tequila I drink, and whether or not I can wake myself up and get down here and talk about football. Reverend, I was rooting for your Giants. I was rooting for Giants hard. I thought they were going to pull it out. Cowboys look like garbage. Malik Neighbors is a fucking stud. I'm sorry, Malik Neighbors. I didn't say great things about Malik Neighbors before the season. Malik Neighbors is a stud. But Giants almost pulled it out. Good job, Giants. Almost beat the Cowboys. Yeah, we'll be talking more football tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We'll get on the stream, talk about who we think is going to win, who we think is going to lose. I'll talk about people really poorly, and then they'll do really well, because that's what happens on that stream. If you'd like to join my channel and support me in my journey to attempting to become a person that actually gets paid to be on YouTube and talk about politics and other fun stuff like football, you can join the Angry Ginger Army by clicking the little join button, which you can see under the Scared Ketchup video. You can see where it says join. Also on my video, you can find the same button, and you can click to join. It only costs 10 cents a day or $3 a month, cheaper than Netflix and much more entertaining. So if you want to hook me up with a whole $3 per month, or actually it's like $2.20 after Netflix takes their cut, or Netflix. YouTube takes their cut. You can click the join button and join the Angry Ginger Army and be like all the cool people. As far as if you want to do other things than that, you can always super chat, or you can go to progressivematters.com/home, and you can buy merchandise from my bonfire, which has really cool shirts like the Lieutenant Bone Spurs or the Kickin' Ass Making America Laugh Again, which I have reduced down to damn near cost, so that way we can sell as many of those Kamala shirts as we possibly can. You can also get yourself an old school Angry Ginger Productions sweater, which are dope as hell. You guys can get those. Those are one of a kind. If you don't have the means to financially help me out, I appreciate you. I love you. I support you supporting me. So thank you for being here. Thank you for liking the stream. Thank you for subscribing. And if you want to do something big for me, you can go to my channel. You can watch my podcasts. You can watch my videos. You can like them. You can comment on them. You can share them. And you can support them. Thank you guys so much. Next stream is tomorrow, Sunday morning, for the football one. And then the next stream after that will be Tuesday at 5 p.m. for more politics, fun, and craziness. I'm sure a lot will happen between today and Tuesday. So hope you guys see you guys there. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you next time.